So with that, we will have a Franks versus Lithuanians matchup, something that is super common so far, as we have Lenars 13 with the second month of support. Thank you so much for your continued support. So, yep, thanks again. And we have a spectator delay going on right now, 1.5 minutes remaining until the game. We're going to take a brief look at the draft once again before we get in there. So, here it is. Villese, Franks, Mayans, Malians, Celts, Cubans, Huns, other side Chinese, Khmer, Lithuanians, Slavs, Britons, and Saracens. First game is Lithuanians versus Franks. If we take a brief look at the stats here, Lithuanians versus Franks, it is only a 25% win rate for Lithuanians. Franks have been one of the most outstanding civilizations in the tournament so far. Very frequently picked 54% win rate. Lithuanians do have a 53%, again, very frequently played. So both of these civs are extremely strong in the tournament, but so far Franks were able to outmatch Lithuanians in most cases. But of course, this massively depends on the ability of either player to obtain relics. It is DauT picking Lithuanians, so relic gathering is going to be a huge focus for him. Villese picking Franks over here. This was also the matchup yesterday between DauT and Max, so there is a high chance that Villese and Max practice together. Max won that against DauT with Franks against Lithuanians. So let's see if Villese can do the same thing against DauT here. Here we go. I will have to get this one here. And welcome everybody. This is going to be game number 1. And we start with an immediate pause here. So this is game number 1 in a best of 5 in between DauT and Villese. This is the King of Desert 3 quarterfinals. We will have Villese on the right side in blue. After upsetting Taro in the decider round, we will have him as Franks in blue. Left side is DauT with Lithuanians in red. He's going to try and avenge his teammate Tati. And, well, let's see if he can do that. He definitely made an upset defeating Lyri 3-2. So DauT might be in one of his best shapes in recent memory. I don't know if I've ever seen DauT playing as good as he's doing right now in this tournament. So that is going to be a sight to behold. And apparently, Villese does see his herdables, but he's gonna have to collect this. It's super interesting that we have a pause at 8 seconds. I'm not really sure what's up. Maybe it's a bugged resource. So let's browse through. Stones are acceptable for Villese. Golds are not bugged, even though they are rather unfortunate. Not undefendable though. In fact, I think that Villese's base is actually quite decent. We're gonna talk about that in a moment. Hunts are nice. Yeah, everything seems fine with Villese's base. For DauT's base, he's got the berries. Yeah, I don't see any reason to call this one a bugged map, so it might just be one of the players calling a pause. Now we are continuing, and we are paused once again. What's up with the players here? I'm gonna check the caster's Discord to see if there is any issues, but nope. Okay, now we are set. I got scared for a brief moment, but now this is absolutely fine. So, I'm not sure if this is lag. Both of these players are Europeans. It's not a bad idea, but I don't think it is. It's both European players, so they play on Europe server most likely. Anyways, we are gonna have back berries, back gold for DauT. This is a super volable base for DauT, and one thing that DauT did in the majority of his games is vol. A lot of players in this Arabia generation did not bother voling because it's very hard to vol, but DauT always made some vols and tried to go for some small bases. I have to say that this map is borderline perfect for DauT. His gold is absolutely safe. He's got a back wood line. This is an easy vol off, super easy vol off. Easy vol off here as well. You're going to place your barracks probably over here. This left side is a little bit more concerning. I don't think that voling here and here can be justified. Depends on DauT's perspective. He can just say, okay, I'm gonna vol here, and use this stone as part of his vol. That's a little bit risky, because technically, if that's the case, he could get towered, and that could be a pretty significant issue, but I don't think it's really going to matter for DauT, so he's probably gonna wall here, and he's gonna be super safe with Lithuanians. Other side, for Villese with Franks, his base is also rather wallable, I would say. Not as easy as DauT's base is, but if you think about the barracks here, stable here, and walls here, and here, the left side is wallable, right side, again, far from ideal, especially walling all the way around. So there's a chance that Villese is just gonna wall here, especially seeing that gold mine. I could imagine that one happening. It's a bit of a commitment. I definitely think that he's going to start off by walling at least some part of the left side. It is debatable if he's gonna fully wall his base, but I think since this is a scout war, you probably want to. Because if you don't wall your bases on a scout war, the opponent's scouts will just be able to harass your eco and always be able to counterattack. So I feel like, especially when your opponent is playing with very mobile units, you just need to be more or less fully walled. Otherwise, you will just have to keep defending your own base with your army because your opponent will just keep harassing you there. So, we will have DauT dropping a house over here. Again, strong indicator that he wants to wall this part of the map. And looking at his scouting, he's got near perfect scouting. He sees his huntables, he sees his stone. The only thing that is missing is his secondary stone, I believe, and he's also missing his secondary gold, now that I take a second look. And Villese already is forward. Neither of the players lost any sheep to lames, so this is a super standard and very passive start so far from the players. Let's take a look at the relics, which seems to actually be okay for DauT, but not amazing. So this relic should be DauT's, this one definitely has to be DauT's, but the other 3 relics are actually better for Villese. So this is not an ideal situation for DauT here. He definitely needs to grab at least this relic, and potentially try and grab either this one or this one. Let's see DauT scouting. He doesn't have an amazing scouting, he just sees one relic over here, and scouting with Lithuanians is essential because you just need to make sure that you see those relics, as we are going to have a 19 pop feudal age here from Villese. He's learning both of his huntables very fast, and he also has the berry bonus from Franks, so he can go for a fast feudal. DauT is going to do the exact same thing, the same feudal age time. Look at that. This is precision from both players, and you can see why they are here in this part of the tournament. 851 and 851 for both players. The benchmark time is 850 for a 19 pop-up. So they had 1 second of idle time each, super clean builds, and you can see that they just have a very clean execution, both of them. So far this game looks super balanced, and we are probably going to see scouts from both players, DauT with the barracks. Neither of them are really walling their base, and indeed Villese is going to wall the left side. That's probably the first place you're gonna start with. And then later on he's going to start adding walls. He will probably try to avoid adding walls at the beginning, and that's a little bit too passive barracks for me. There is a chance he just wants to wall like this, but that's, as I said, a little bit too passive for me. I feel like walling here and here would have been a little bit better, because you can fit a barracks in here and the stable in here and you're pretty much set with this. So I don't like these walls from Villese, because right now that gold mine could be exposed to range units in the long run. Of course, there is a chance we're not going to see range units, as DauT is pushing away the ostrich, just trying to disrupt Villese here. Nice micro so far from DauT, gets a hit on. And he still tries to push away the ostrich. Hill advantage on the side of Villese. HPs are now better for Villese because he has the Frankish scout. So technically, as long as DauT is playing with scouts, this wall-off can be understood. But if DauT goes for a few range units, this gold mine could be dangerously exposed. So I massively disagree with Villese's walling here. If he just walls a few tiles more to the front, that would have been better. Because then he doesn't need to make all these, just wall here instead. And this would have been slightly better, and then the gold is safe. Now this gold can be contested from the other side of the wall, which could be a problem in the long run. DauT trying to deny the walls over here, really active with that scout, as Villese did send his scout forward, so DauT has his own scout running around right now, trying to harass and keep that one open, as DauT is coming in with a spearman. It helps immensely with Lithuanians that you have a faster moving spearman, which means that you can actually get to your opponent's base much faster, and it appears that this is going to be DauT's preferred angle of attack. Sends in the 2 spearmen. Villese did not make a single spear here, so dealing with those spearmen will be pretty challenging. Technically he can counterattack DauT's base because DauT isn't fully walled either, but he's gonna have to defend against this one, and I have to say that DauT's start here is looking pretty good. Villese can do two things, either try to fight this one or try to counterattack. Probably the appropriate way to play this one for him would be to make one or two spears and try to counterattack. Indeed, that is the plan over here. This villager, however, could be exposed, and I'm not the fan of Villese's situation over here, to be honest. Because he's got scouts in his base, he's got a lot of idols, and now he's gonna move in towards DauT's base. He's got one spearman over here to defend. Not a whole lot, but it's only 3 scouts, so it might be enough. Nice quick walls from Villese so far. But once again, DauT is just within your base, and you don't really want that to happen. Because if you just look away for a second, DauT could snipe a weak villager, even though Villese did a beautiful job at maintaining the HP of all the villagers on foot, so it's pretty hard to snipe those. Spearman comes in here from Villese, but DauT can just chase it down with the faster spears. Scouts are in from Villese. DauT will have a defensive spearman on the wood line, and he's gonna have one on the berries, so I don't think that Villese can do a lot of damage here. So, yeah, the problem here for Villese could be that he just can't add villagers to his wood lines. That is actually a rather ineffective fight for DauT. There is a villager to be picked off, but DauT does not see that. I think he's busy not dying to these scouts. In the long run, the Franks will have the better eco because they have the free horse color, so you can see that all the farms that Villese is seeding is with horse color, whereas DauT does not have horse color, and we have seen it yesterday in the Dogao series. Very similar scenario. Franks had free horse color, the Lithuanians didn't, and the Lithuanian player didn't go for horse color, and that is going to cripple your early Castle Age economy, because all these farms without horse color will run out when you reach Castle Age, and you will not be able to make additional TCs because of that. So the fact that DauT is not adding horse color over here is actually a huge mistake, just as big of a mistake as Villese is doing with just idling those scouts over there. So far, I don't think there was any villagers picked off, but at this point, I would actually favor Villese's situation here, because he's got horse color, he's got a very, very good food eco now, 18 on food already, and farms with horse color, whereas for DauT, farms without horse color, which could really backfire in the long run. So that is actually a significant concern for DauT. He is going to be fully walled though, so this is the chance for him to just try and be annoying. I think he's waiting for the villagers on the berries to finish that berry bush. Look at that. The berry has a 23 food on it. And if the villagers pick that berry bush, then the scouts could potentially try and kill a villager there. Villese realizes that he's gonna send his spearman back home for now. And it appears that DauT is gonna go for a rather fast blacksmith over here. Villese still has 2 scouts running around, same for DauT. So I think Castle Age times will be very, very similar. But on the other hand, I still don't like that DauT is missing horse color here. He is having one more scout inside that stable. I like that because if Villese scouts the stable, he cannot be sure how many scouts are inside. He just sees the flags. So he doesn't know if DauT wants to commit to Feudal Age, and he needs to be careful because Villese is still not fully walled. He's doing an excellent job protecting his villas, by the way. Spearmen at crucial positions, making sure villagers aren't picked off. So far, Villese is playing very, very clean in this one. Villebaro was a little bit faster for DauT over here. And as I said, Castle Age times will very likely be super close as well for both players. But, oh man, the horse color is going to mean the difference. Look at all these farms, 65. Did DauT ring the town bell? And for those who are familiar with my channel, they know that I don't use headphones because it just feels inconvenient. But I think that DauT might have actually just stopped and regrouped the villagers inside because there is a wheelbarrow bug. So basically the wheelbarrow does not apply to farmers until you retask them manually, and that might have been what DauT did here. I'm not 100% sure, but that might have been the reason why he retasked those. And that also means he's gonna have a slightly better Castle Age time. Villese actually adds one more villager. This is actually a huge mistake from Villese. Is he missing the second building? Oh yes, he does. So that is a huge problem for Villese, because that's 1 minute Castle Age difference, which means basically 2 free nights for DauT. That is huge, because in a night war, that's all the advantage that you want to have. So the fact that Villese was missing the second building actually delays his Castle Age time. He could have clicked up a lot faster. DauT with forging and bloodlines, so he definitely wants to continue with knights over here. Since there is no archers on the field, forging makes more sense than archers. You cast without sound? Yes, that is correct. I've been casting without sound for a huge amount of time. You hear sounds because they are enabled, but I'm not using my headphones. I only do that when I'm casting with someone else. But for me, it's just more convenient to do it that way. I know it's weird, but it is what it is. I just feel inconvenient when I'm casting with a headphone, and when you have to do that for 7-8 hours, that gets really tiring. It just hurts my ears. I feel more confident just casting without sound. Of course, I could like use earphones or something like that, but I don't have any of those. And I can't just use my speakers, because then you would hear the game sound from my microphone as well, so that's not gonna work. Anyways, as I said, Castle Age is in for DauT, and apparently he's only playing with a single stable. This is super interesting. So despite the fact that he's gonna have the Castle Age advantage, he's not really going to capitalize on that. I wonder if DauT just forgot the second stable, or he is playing a little bit more defensive. So there is a monastery, something that you always add in a Night War, because just 1 or 2 conversions can turn out of battle. And I think DauT might know that he's without Horse Collar. Look at that. All those farms running out. This is why you want Horse Collar in the Scouts to Knights build. And instead of dropping the second stable, he decides to add TCs. That is an acceptable trade-off here, considering that he is fully walled, so he doesn't necessarily need that many knights. And he also really wants to get that monastery down. You already want that in a Night War, but more importantly, there is no overchop. There is no overchop, and DauT is going to notice that. Disaster for Villese, because that should be 1 dead villager. The knight can just gallop in. Actually, is that 2 dead villagers? I think it is. Oh, disaster for Villese, that overchop. He's going to lose 2 or 3 villagers here. Yes, he's going to get the knights back, but this is perfect value for DauT. He can even try to bring in the Spearman. Villese is going to wall that completely. Villese will be on 3 TCs here. So let's look at DauT's scouting. And DauT's scouting is actually pretty poor, considering that he is Lithuanians. Because you want to be able to pick up the relics, and DauT is sending that monk forward to convert some knights. So DauT is playing very aggressive, but I think he could just yoink that relic here while he can. Because I would understand if DauT plays this one rather passive, defensive, and just tries to get the relics for himself here. And it appears he wants to steal that relic. I like this. If he drags away Vilese's knights to the south, he can actually steal that relic. And I think DauT is definitely playing for a long game. So without Horse Collar, you cannot afford double stables, 3 TCs, and the monastery. So DauT decides to only play with 1 stable, which is very risky here. Because your opponent is going to outmass you with knights quite badly, especially considering that Villese also has extra armor. On the other hand, if you are fully walled, it doesn't really matter, because those knights will not be able to bash their way into your base, especially with monks supporting. And DauT is picking up the first relic. Now, this is a little bit dangerous here, leaving a hole open like that. But that is 1 relic being taken away, and I think the other one has been secured by Villese, because there was a relic over here somewhere. Villese does have a way better scouting than DauT does, and Villese is probably going to have this relic. And Villese could actually go for that relic as well. I'm not sure if DauT is gonna have more than 2 relics over here, especially considering that he does not see any more. I have to say that... Oh, there is the second one for DauT. Imagine if he saw this relic. This would be 3 relics for DauT, and that's actually a huge power spike for him. It's a little bit poor scouting from DauT over here. He might bump into the knights of his opponent, and this is perfect for DauT. He's trying to get a Vululu in, gets 1 conversion, and he's got 10+3 now against just +1/+1. Villese will have to run away. There is some light caps from Villese to try and snipe the monks. DauT is going to start looking for them. I really like how Villese keeps 1 light cap over here to snipe monks. So he is going to be able to deny that relic for a brief moment. Both players at a rather even villager count. Villese is missing Boso though. That actually is huge. His eco is going to fall behind because of that. He also allocates a bunch of villagers to stone, so there is a chance he wants to get a castle up pretty fast over here. Maybe this hill would be a pretty nice hill for him to have. This would be a beautiful defensive castle position. Maybe somewhere around over here could work. And once you have a castle up, DauT cannot really transition to pikeman. DauT is looking for the relics, but I really don't like that he just didn't use his leftover feudal age spearmen to scout, something that Lithuanian players always do, because those spearmen are still rather fast, and you need the information here. Imagine if this relic was here, for example. Villese could have already picked it up. So the only reason why Villese doesn't have free relics here is because this one is so far away from Villese that he's just unable to get there. So Pikeman on the way for Villese here, and we are gonna have the light cap sniping monks over here, but Villese also loses his own monks, and I think this is actually a better fight for DauT. DauT does have 10 plus 3 over here. He's got a lot of idols though, that was a big mistake from DauT on the other hand. The fact that he could have actually used those knights to continue that fight, but right now he's doing a beautiful job, and he does this with one stable only. Okay, now he has a second stable, and he is looking for the relic, but he's just unable to find any. Imagine if he just had a slightly better scouting, right? But I think DauT is actually leading this one. As I said before the series, Lithuanians only have a 25% win rate against Franks in this tournament so far. So because of that, Lithuanians are technically the underdog safe here. We are going to have pikemen for Villese. This is basically very, very similar to what Max did, just go pikeman defense with a castle, but the problem here is that I don't think that is enough pikemen. +1/+1, and those knights have +4 attack, even though they do lack the armor. This is a huge engagement over here. This might end up being a DauT castle because those knights are just swarming in here. Castle at 80%, this castle is gonna be denied, and this might be the end of Villese in this game because he just has no army left, and now he's gonna lose villagers over here on the front line. He's trying to mass more pikemen, but at this point he lost a lot of villagers, and DauT can just keep sending in more and more knights. And well, this is looking pretty bad. Can this game be a stream snipe? No way. There's no way this is a stream snipe. First of all, there is a spectator delay, 2-minute spec delay. Second, both of these players are high level and respected enough to have zero chance of cheating like that. There is no way that there is any cheating involved in this. Anyways, DauT is still looking for the relics over here, and now he will try to bash his way into the base of Villese on the other side. Villese has 30 militias, he has regrouped quite nicely, but he is behind by 8 villagers and Boso, which is a big difference maker. Plus, he's still fighting against knights that now have +4 attack. If DauT gets the armor upgrades, this is going to be even more scary, but more importantly, DauT I think is piling up resources to go imp here. Technically, DauT could just commit to Castle Age here because he has the unit numbers and he's could have the strengths with the +2 attack from the relics, and if you add the extra armor as well, to just finish this game off in Castle Age, but I think he wants to play safe and go for Imperial. Now he's going to lose the monk, so he knows the relic will be there. This is important as well for DauT. Even if he didn't see the relic, he would know the relic is there because there was a light cav there that is probably just defending that relic from the knights. So right now Villese has a lot of farming idols, and look at that, that's the problem. DauT is clicking Imperial. Villese is just unable to do so because he has to idle a lot of farmers, consistently 15-20 idols, whereas Villese was unable to touch DauT's eco at any time in this game. DauT might have not even lost a single villager, I think, which is huge, whereas for Villese, it was just villager after villagers getting killed. Eventually the pikemen could stop this one, but DauT also has quite a lot of monks over here to convert some pikemen and lower those numbers. He can also heal his knights, and all he does is just be annoying right now. Clicks into Imperial. He doesn't even mind if he loses this army, if he trades it off to villagers and whatnot, because he's going to remass the army and go for Cavalier once again. Has 5 on stone, soon can afford a castle, which could come at this position, for example. So, with all that in mind, I think DauT is probably in the driver's seat right now. Squire's on the way for Villese. And let's see if DauT is gonna send a monk for another relic. A little bit too passive castle, I think, in this situation, but it's the safer option for DauT. Goes for conversion of the pikemen once again. Or are those the knights? No, it's the pikemen trying to get converted. Not a great fight for DauT here, but once again, he is having enough here with the extra attack on those knights, even without the armor, to make this a rather inefficient engagement for Villese. And again, Villese just has 20 idols because of this. All DauT is doing is just delaying. He is throwing away a lot of army, which is not super efficient, But on the other hand, it just delays the eco of Villese so badly, and DauT already has a 10 villagers, actually just a 2 villagers lead now. But on the other hand, he's gonna be Imperial, he can start making Cavaliers, maybe even Lattice, but probably set up the traps on this hill and start trapping that castle down. This is not looking great for Villese, and I wouldn't even be surprised to see Villese tapping out of this game once he sees DauT is Imperial, because Villese is not even close to clicking him. Technically, he could buy himself up, but he's only got 2 villagers on gold right now, so if he buys himself up, he's not gonna have the gold to produce units. Knights once again getting in there now, +2 armor, +5 attack, because that is free relics for DauT now, and those will be Cavaliers very soon. I don't see this for Villese, and DauT once again looking super sharp. After Tato 3-0'd, got 3-0'd by Villese, a lot of people said that Villese could beat DauT, and that could be still true, because this is just one game. On the other hand, DauT, I think DauT winning against Leary is a little bit more convincing for me at estimating their skill level in this tournament than Villese 3-0ing Tato. Villese played very good yesterday, and he also played decently this game, but here is what you get when you can pick up free relics here for DauT. DauT played this one very clean, didn't lose a single villager, was very efficient with the raids. On the other hand, his scouting wasn't perfect, so this could have been worse. Like, he got lucky that he could get free relics over here, because based on his scouting, this could have been 2 relics, maybe even just 1 relic. Wasn't the best scouting from DauT here to start the day with, but that a win is a win, and a rather efficient win as well from DauT. Let's take a quick look at the stats. So 114 kills, 58 deaths from DauT after losing all those knights inside the base of Villese. The ecos were rather close, but if you think about the fact that for most of the game DauT had better villager count, and also DauT had both, so something that Villese did never get, then if you look at the resources, you're going to see that DauT almost 2,000, actually more than 2,000, the extra gold, more than 2,000 difference in the food count as well, 1.5k food difference as well, and with that in mind, DauT just edges out a victory over here in the first game, and that's a huge one, I think, because Franks is one of the best civilizations for Villese in this one. Let's take a brief look at the civs. So, Lithuanians versus Franks. So far, Lithuanians had a 25% win rate against Franks. Now it is climbing up a tiny bit more to something like 30-ish percentage. And, as I said, this was first pick for Villese, so I think he had a huge belief in Franks here. On the other hand, Mayans are still available, which could be extremely tough to beat. Malians are still there, but if you look at DauT civs, I'm a little bit more convinced, because there is Saracens. Honestly, I think that if Saracens, or like if DauT is really leading, I don't think he's gonna pick Saracens, because he might want to try and save some strategies for upcoming round if he feels confident that he can win without using Saracens. So I would actually say Khmer or Chinese is the most likely scenario here for DauT. Probably some standard Chinese play. We could see potentially scouts into archers from Chinese here, or something relatable. That's my prediction for this one at least. So that is game number 1. Villese loses to DauT in this one, and if I had to predict, Villese will likely pick Mayans over here, because Mayans is definitely his second best civilization. Surprised DauT with Britons. Yeah, you're true, Imperial Camo, you're totally true. Britons have basically the worst win rate among civilizations that were frequently picked. This is by far the weakest civ among the frequently picked ones. 3 wins, 14 losses. If you look at the win percentages, it's 18%. There's 29. There is 2 0%, but Japanese is on a sample size of 5. Japanese is understandable as well. Italians doesn't really matter because it's just one pick. free picks for Spanish. So Britain's is definitely one of the most disappointing civs in this tournament so far. But as I said, the Arabia generation on this tournament is so open that there's pretty much very little chance, as I need to restart my game over here. So they are just so much reliant on their archers, and they are so slow moving. What makes Britons an amazing civilization on a map like Hideout is that they have a very strong army, very good defensive civilization, but rather slow moving. So they can very easily hold and defend narrow choke points. One of the best save at defending like narrow choke points or areas where you don't have to move a lot. But this map is just the direct opposite of that. You have a super open map, you need mobility for this. If you look at the civilizations that have high win percentages, all of them have some sort of mobile option. Like Chinese have good cavalry, Lithuanians, Khmer, Franks. Basically, so far the civilizations that really stand out in this tournament are the ones that have a decent cavalry option, and alongside that, a decent chance to go for archers, to be honest. Like, for example, Lithuanians don't have amazing archers, but Lithuanians can go for an okay crossbow play. Khmer do have arbalest to play around with. Malians can also go for a crossbow play pretty nicely. They can even go Arabs even though they are missing bracers, so it's not ideal. But at the end of the day, all of the civs that really stand out are the civilizations that have a pretty decent mixture of okay cavalry and okay archers, basically. Of course, exception is Meso civs, but those stand out with either their great eco like Aztecs, or potentially their very fine and great tech switches like Mayans. So let's see what we have, and we do have a Malians versus Khmer game over here, interestingly. Somewhat unexpected to see Villese picking Malians here, whereas I think that DauT's Khmer here is just pretty straightforward. Let's see what DauT plans here. There is absolutely no guarantees he's going to play with scouts here. In fact, he could definitely go for the surprise archers play here. DauT on the right side in red is Khmer, left side is going to be Villese as Malians in blue. So let's take a look. These maps are definitely a lot more open than the previous map generation. So technically this is defendable for Villese, and I would make an argument for voting here, here in front, here and here. Not an easy roll off, but technically this is a defendable base for Villese. On the other side, for DauT, this base isn't that great, and the main reason for that is because there is no absolutely safe gold here for DauT. So easy roll off on the north, that's nice. Stone at the back, woodlands at the back. However, there is no safe gold mine. I think the best thing that you could do if you are DauT is voll like this and maybe use this gold mine. The problem with this gold mine is that it takes a lot of time to walk from the TC to this gold mine, and that's something that DauT might not want to do. So there's a chance DauT will try to take this gold mine. But Villese, seeing that gold mine, he could heavily consider playing archers over here. He's got 4 on wood, that is definitely an archer play here, as we are going to have a barracks coming up rather fast here from Villese. DauT is going to deny that, or at least delay it a tiny bit. This was trying to be a fast barracks even before mill. If you take a look at Villese's base, he tried to surprise DauT, and that's one of the reasons why he went for 4 on wood at the beginning, because he wanted to have that wood in even with the cheaper Malian buildings for a fast barracks. But DauT sees the barracks, and he also managed to delay that a tiny bit. And we didn't even talk about the fact that DauT can jump into houses, so that rush should not really do a lot, as DauT is adding villagers to gold here quite fast. This looks like maybe man-at-arms build from DauT here. 20 pop man-at-arms would be a little bit too tight of a build order, but that's already 3 villagers added to gold here. Although, on the other hand, he's not dropping a barracks, he doesn't even have the wood for it, so this might be double-range straight archers from DauT. Because if he wanted to play man-at-arms, he would be dropping the barracks by now, which is something he's not doing. And since Khmer do not need the barracks to build archer range, you just are completely fine at playing with the arch ranges to start with. So, with all of this said and done, DauT also pushes in some deer. I like that he walled in his woodland, and one of the reasons why Khmer is great is because you can hop into the house from one side and hop out on the other side. And the reason why it's great is because you don't need to open these walls to add more villagers to the wood line. DauT is adding just one range right now, whereas that is a Man-at-Arms Towers play from Villese. In fact, a forward archer range, so probably a few skirms will be added now. Malian Man-at-Arms will have extra Pierce Armor, and it appears that Villese is going to be able to force DauT off from gold. Not so great for DauT over here, and that extra Pierce Armor really helps here with the 2 armor already. If Villese mixes in a few skirmishers, DauT could be in trouble because he doesn't really have a lot to deal with those Man-at-Arms. So, immediate blacksmith from DauT, he wants to get the fast fletching in. He has enough gold to get fletching and a few more archers, but he really needs to micro this precisely. If he's able to get rid of those Man-at-Arms, I think he's going to be fine, because then he can use his scout to just push away the initial skirms from his opponent. But he needs to deal with those Man-at-Arms, and Villese, he will probably try to tower this gold mine. Villese is a very detailed scouting on DauT's base. He sees the single wood line, and that's an absolutely excellent tower. Denies the gold, denies the wood line over here. This is going to be a very, very hard tower to deal with if you are DauT. And DauT is going to try and counter tower that. DauT does have save stone in the back, but no villagers are on it just yet. Scout micro happening here. It is extremely important for Villese to kill DauT scout, because that is the main danger to his skirmishers, and this is looking very good for Villese here. This is looking absolutely amazing, to be honest. So, on the other hand, DauT is gonna have the tower up as well, and both players with fletching, so the towers are completely even to each other here, and what DauT wants is a counterattack. I like this. For a moment at least he thought about the chance of a counterattack, because if you are fully walled, well, at least, not really fully walled, but if you are in a defendable position, you could actually argue for a counterattack to try and hit your forwarding opponent, because one of the best ways to deal with the forward is to counterattack. On the other hand, Villese is committing a lot of effort into walling his base here, but the right side is wide open, so that might not matter. The problem for DauT is that he's gonna have to take this fight, needs to snipe that scout first, I believe, but this is not looking great for DauT by any means. He is gonna lose all those forces. On the other hand, the Man-at-Arms are away from DauT's base, so this is the moment when DauT just wants to go out to the villagers and rush down the tower and take his gold mine back. So, for now, DauT I think is still fine. He can go for a few skirms and just go for the gold mine now. Why is DauT not going for the gold mine? It's a mystery to me. He's not even going for the stone and like a market to sell stone, so it appears that he just wants to play with full skirms, but the problem with the full skirm play here is that the Man-at-Arms, even without the extra Pierce Armor of Malians, are just virtually resistant to skirmisher fire. You need 1 or 2 archers to deal with them, and that's not something that DauT does have. Now he's adding villagers to gold. Remember, he's got 12 on food. So despite the fact that he got pressured quite hard over here, we shouldn't overlook the situation of DauT having 13 on food with Horse Collar, which means that he could have a very, very good castle age time over here. Even without a huge amount of gold in the bank. Now he's trying to snipe down the range units, which I once again really like, because if he can just wall the villagers in here on the gold mines and the Man-at-Arms aren't really going to be efficient, adds a stable over here, he's going to try and use the villagers to force away the Man-at-Arms. DauT's defense here is looking pretty good. He will be able to add 1 or 2 more archers, and skirms aren't really threatening to the villagers of DauT. On the other hand, there is the Man-at-Arms coming in. Very nice macro from DauT, picking off the archers, and now an archer comes in. There is nothing for Villese to kill those archers with right now, so the Man-at-Arms are dropping in HP, and once the Man-at-Arms are dead, I think DauT is fine. He is, I think, going to lose 1 villager over here, slopping micro over there from DauT, and immediately after we will have a pause. So the thing is that now Villese is about to lose all 3 of those Man-at-Arms, and if that happens, Villese only has skirms and archers. DauT can defend against that one very nicely, and if that happens, I think DauT can just rush down this tower as well. He can just send 5 villagers to take this down. Indeed, Villese realizes that, and he's just gonna wall it in. On the other hand, DauT can just go for this gold mine if he really wants to, or go for stone and sell stone. He doesn't need a lot of gold to get into Castle Age, and once he gets into Castle Age, he can just go for Knights or Mangonels and deal with this Tower's aggression. So, at this point, I think this is still looking better for DauT. He's gonna have a counterattack. It's just a few skirms, but it has 2 archers and the scout inside, so this could be dangerous. I think the best it can achieve is potentially push away the Villagers of Villese from the wood line. Let's see if DauT is going to spot that stable. That is a hidden stable from Villese, and Villese is massing scouts. So this could still be dangerous for DauT because he's almost exclusively skirms, and he doesn't even have barracks for spearmen. DauT, on the other hand, he is going to see the stable with the flags. Let's see if he's going to react to the barracks immediately. He could also react with his own scouts, which could work just as fine. Still 16 on food versus 15 on food, but it's Khmer farming versus Mali and 1, so DauT's eco is still way better over here. So, yeah, a little bit of an idle time here as the wood line of Villese is getting harassed. And let's see if DauT is planning to sell stone here to go up. Yeah, indeed, there is the market. One of the very common ways. Or he can just go here. Oh, I love this from DauT. This map awareness is so good. I didn't even see this 3rd gold. But now he has saved gold. And if you look at his eco, 17 on food, 7 on gold. This is pretty much a Scouts into Knights builds eco distribution at this stage of the game. So at the end of the day, DauT got pressured by towers, but it barely affected his eco. In fact, he's going to idle his DC a tiny bit and potentially click up to Castle Age, whereas Villese is not even close. Villese is massing a lot of scouts. This is super dangerous. This is extremely dangerous over here for DauT, because if Villese goes for Bloodline scouts here, this could be a disaster, but DauT breaks in, and Villese is still without Bloodlines. So if DauT just trades off his scouts to Villese's scouts, he's absolutely fine. There is Bloodlines coming in for Villese. I think Villese will try to take this fight at some point. DauT might need a few spearmen. Apparently he does not see these skirms killing his units. But there is going to be forging for DauT. And I think by the time Villese really gets to DauT's base, DauT will be up to Castle Age and he can make a few knights to clean that one up. And also DauT can jump into houses to prevent the villagers from getting killed by the scouts. So I don't think this scout counterattack is going to work for Villese. He's waiting too long for this scale barding and Bloodlines. I understand the concept of Villese here, as DauT might just break into Villese's base, which is even worse. Because, okay, now Villese needs to fight this one. DauT is going to see the upgrades. That's super important. Tries to get the archers and skirms behind. This is going to be a cleanup, make no mistake. But is it going to be a cleanup? Yeah, it's going to be, okay. So it is a cleanup from Villese. But at the end of the day, if you look at what is left, not a lot, because DauT also had forging on his scouts. It's 2 scouts left for Villese, and that is basically all. DauT kills a villager here on the tower of Villese, and that is a huge Castle Age difference. So, double stable, it could be elephants as well indeed. So this can be knights, this can be elephants, it's going to be knights from DauT in this one. He can go for Boso without any further issues, and he could even go for a siege workshop and mango these down. This is looking extremely rough right now for Villese, because Villese is just about to click up to Castle Age. He can make a few spearmen to defend against the knights, but DauT could decide by a forward siege workshop and just go for rams and knights and take down these buildings. Let's see if DauT is gonna do that. There is no forward villager from DauT just yet. Brings in a knight, and for whatever reason there is a hole in these walls, so this knight is just going to kill this tower with no chance of Villese repairing. DauT is perfectly fine here. I think the only ingredient missing for him is a forward siege workshop. Yeah, who is DauT and what did he do to all DauT? DauT has always been a very, very good player in terms of mindset and everything. I think what makes DauT very good here is the map awareness that he's having. And overall, I think one thing that really distinguishes DauT from many players is how calm he is. Just going to a DauT stream, has anyone seen DauT being annoyed at all? I don't think so. I've never seen DauT annoyed. There is a villager dead from him. He's always just chilling and whatnot. The Cav Archer actually is a good idea. Khmer Cav Archers are kind of legit, and you can get to your opponent's base quite easily and deny the second layers. So it's not a bad idea by any means. So the fact that DauT is super calm helps very, very massively when you're at very, very deep in a tournament like this. I don't know what this Cav Archer is doing and how he teleported inside that house foundation. Do you see this? Do you see this? That he's actually inside the house foundation. Anyways, at this point, it's 3 villagers advantage for DauT. Villese is going to be Castle Age, but Castle Age with what? And after Villese 3-0 Taro, a lot of people said that Villese could actually be maybe even in the semifinals. It looks like he's going to be down by 2 games against DauT. He needs to go for camels because he's behind in knight numbers, but he's not gonna have the food eco once again. Look at all these idle. There's just absolutely nothing to do. DauT can just sacrifice his knights beneath the TC and just keep killing villagers. Villese is down to 35 with no gold income. There is going to be a few camels in here, but at this point, I don't think this is gonna work. I mean, 5 on food, 0 on gold. You cannot replenish those camels. Those camels have +1/+1. DauT has a lot more knights, and as I said, Villese cannot make more camels here. He can get this batch out, and then basically that is it. Yeah, indeed, exactly. Like, DauT has nothing to lose, but even if he had a lot of things to lose, DauT is definitely one of the more calm players out there, and that helps immensely. As much as we are talking about the fact that, let's say for Nikov, he often gets nervous in tournaments and that can hurt him, we also think about the fact that DauT barely gets very, very nervous, and being this calm helps so much when you are trying to just finish off your opponent with like a surgical precision. Picks off 1 villager on the farm, this Cav Archer is going to finish off the vills, and basically, this is going to be almost impossible for Villese now. He's behind by 24 vills at this stage of the game. Against a Khmer player that also has a great farming eco, goes for a monastery. So we are going to see probably a few monks to convert the camels over here. Villese is still trying, but he's got basically no gold income. So if you look at these tables, all of them are idle. If Villese is a market, he could sell some resources to get some more gold in. But this is never going to be efficient. And DauT will just bring in the monks. Teasing that our gold is DauT, he has reclaimed control over most of his base. And DauT also has 2 villagers on stone. And almost 400 stone. I think that if DauT sends 2 or 3 more villagers to stone, he could easily get a castle up in the face of his opponent. To answer that question on the chat, the reason why he still has 2 villagers on stone is because he was getting towered and he just forgot about the villagers on the stone. But right now, he has enough stone to just send 2 or 3 more vills and pile up resources for a castle. And if that happens, he can just castle drop Villese over here because he is going to have the military advantage. The knights and monks over here will just be better for DauT. Although, he still needs to watch out against the camels of Villese. I could see pikemen as well from DauT, like a tech switch into pikemen, because the thing is that Villese doesn't have the eco to tech switch into archers to deal with the pikemen. So because of that, I think a pikeman switch here from DauT could be justified, or he could just boom. He knows he did a lot of damage. It's 64 against 37 eco. He doesn't need to take any risks. When you are ahead by this much, you can do 2 things. You either are trying to finish your opponent off and like drop a forward castle, or you're just gonna sit back and boom, knowing that you already have a huge advantage, so there is almost no chance for your opponent to catch up, and that's exactly what we're seeing. DauT is at 69 villagers with 3 TCs, Villese is at 1 TC with 40 villagers, even though Villese does have wheelbarrow and DauT does not, but that isn't enough to compensate for this big of a deficit. So, at this point, DauT is just in a way better spot, and he's gonna start picking up relics as well. I think he just is about to get the first one. Looking at his scouting, he doesn't see any more. But that's the second one he's gonna grab, and I think he can scout the third one very soon. So he's gonna have a lot of relics here. It's all about just extending that lead as much as possible. So, like, as much as it is, or as much as it seems okay for Villese that he has a decent amount of camels to deal with the knights, he just doesn't have the eco to replenish them, and that is indeed a double barrack switch from DauT. He's going to add pikemen, and Villese is not going to have the eco to tech switch into crossbows or swordsmen to deal with them. Maybe he can add 1 or 2 Scorpions, but I don't think he can really mass anything that can deal with Pikemen. Plus, DauT also is going to have 4 Monks. If you get 4 conversions in on camos, that's perfect. It appears Villese is going to try and flank, but this just gives a chance for DauT to potentially push the front line over here. And let's see if Villese is going to bail out and go back home. I think he needs to, because he cannot afford that many knights to get into his eco. Whereas for DauT, he can defend with monks. He still can jump into houses, and camos aren't great as a raiding unit. The low base stack of camos makes them kind of poor as a raiding unit. DauT even tries to convert the villagers to prevent the second layering over here. The barracks falls, the knights are going to swarm inside. Villese trying to get some damage done within DauT's base, but that seems impossible. Some idle time is forced on DauT, but nothing significant, and DauT is gonna have pikemen out in a brief moment, so he can deal with those, and that is a huge amount of knights in there. Now DauT sends the monks back, and there is still a decent amount of camos to deal with. So this is not as perfect as it looks like for DauT, but he still has a nearly insurmountable lead over here. Again, not the most efficient fight here for DauT. Indeed, he's gonna have to bail out of this one for now. But Villese is losing a lot of his army, and replenishing that is going to be super, super hard. So even with all these idols for DauT, he still has a better eco than Villese does. And he could also convert a few knights, camos here. No conversions just yet. There is one 4 HP camo that is being converted over here. And apparently the knights from DauT are taking this fight. And this is an awful fight for DauT. DauT can be very happy that he did so much damage to Villese, because the last few minutes were rather disappointing from DauT. He took some very, very disappointing engagements. Eventually he's gonna have the pikemen, and I think his lead is big enough to just be able to make that big mistakes. He's got 48 on wood with 1.5k wood in the bank. He needs to take 10-15 villagers from wood and add them to food here. So yeah, DauT isn't really having the best game of his life here, but he did enough damage on Villese to be able to just get by with some big mistakes that he's making. Like, the eco isn't great, and it appears that Villese is just gonna tap out. As I said, DauT had a too big lead here. So if DauT just makes the pikeman here, he can defend against this one. He is going to send a few more villagers to food, and he can be into Imperial very, very soon. Not the best game from DauT. I think his previous game was better, but the defense was exceptional from DauT, I believe. That basically pretty much won the game alone for him. So with that, that is game number 2 in the hands of DauT as well. And just as Villese 3-0 Taro, DauT could 3-0 Villese over here, and Villese could be the first player out in the quarterfinals in a rather short series. This is just 1 hour. And we already have 2 games done here. And this is the time to take a look at the civilizations. And I'm actually tempted to say that I like the remaining civs for DauT a lot better. I think Villese needs to go Mayans. If you look at all these civs, I think you just have to use Mayans. You can't go out for, like, if Villese loses the next game, he's going to be out with 3-0. And I think it's a pretty bad thing if you get 3-0'd without using Mayans. I think you have to. There is a chance he's not going to do that, but I feel like it would be a bit of a waste picking Mayans if you don't pick them even when you are behind this much. On the other hand, DauT still has Chinese, DauT still has Slavs. He could use Saracens, but I don't think that he's going to show his hand here. He's confident that he can win with the civs that he has available, so he's going to try and save Saracens for next round. So I think it's either Chinese or Slavs if you ask me, and Britons might go unpicked if unless we go for 5 games. I think for 5 games, DauT is going, if we go to 5 games, so Villese wins 2 in a row, Saracens will be picked by DauT, and I think no matter what, Britons will probably go unpicked. That's my prediction for the civilizations, but I'm very, very tempted to say that Villese needs to pick Mayans here. You should just never ever waste Mayans by not picking them if you are this much behind. Like, of course, Villese could have some strategies prepared for other civs as well. He's very confident in. But on the other hand, I feel like I honestly feel like Villese needs to go Mayans. All right. So next game is up very, very soon, and this is Villase's tournament line, hanging on line, a final Suomi player in King of Desert 3. Max got eliminated by the Gao, and now Villese could be routed by DauT, which would secure a spot for DauT in the semifinals. I will actually open up Liquipedia for a brief moment here and check out when was the last time DauT was in the semifinals of any major tournament. Let's see. We are talking about 1v1 tournaments because team game tournaments, of course, he was with Secret in ECL. He was in Battle of Africas as well. But 1v1 tournaments... Let's see. Red Bull Volo 2 9-16s. Mario via Arabia Invitational 5th to 8th. Clown Cup 3 9-16th. Then you have Hidden Cup 3 5th to 8th, so he was quarterfinalist there. Fair Civs Cup 5th to 8th. NAC 3 7th to 9th. Like, yeah, he was a semi-finalist in Mangrove Shallows Cup. The last tournament, or last major tournament, he was in the semifinals, was Mangrove Shallows Cup. And that was unique settings. If you go back to non-unique settings, then it's even worse in that aspect. Hidden Cup 2 9-16th, 5th to 6th in NAC2, 17th to the 32nd in KOTD2. So in KOTD2, DauT lost in the round of 32s very early on. Hidden Cup 1 9 to the 10th or 9 to the 12th. So really, you have to go back quite a lot to see DauT in a 1v1 tournament semifinals like this. He absolutely deserved this, by the way. And yeah, basically, Escape Gaming Masters Regicide Edition in 2017, I would say that's a little bit, it's quite a prestigious tournament. He lost 2-0 to MBL, and he got 4th place. That's probably the last time he was in the semifinals of a notable event with standard settings. Of course, Mangrove Shallows Cup was there, but that's a unique setting, kind of. So I'm a little bit hesitant to say that over there. And he was second in Clash of the Hippo 3 2017 once again. Second in Escape Gaming Masters in 2017. Basically, the first time that DauT has been in a semifinals in a rather standard setting tournament since 2017. And he's very close to getting in there. I'll need to restart my game once again because D is acting up on me, which is a little bit annoying. He was 2018 in the finals of Killer Bees Arabia Cup. He might be, but I'm not sure who played in Killer Bees Arabia Cup though. Like, the reason why I'm looking for big tournaments is because, like, if tournaments don't have a huge amount of expert players, of course it's a little bit easier to get there. Yes, he had good performances. Like, he was 9-16 in Red Bull. He consistently had a top 16 performance, but usually it was always quarterfinals loss or lost in the round of 16s. He had a steady 8 to 16s performance in most of the time. He went in the quarterfinals and Hidden Cup, that's true, but I think the big step to take is being a quarterfinalist to being a semi-finalist. And what we're seeing here for DauT is that he was very frequently in the quarterfinals, but barely in the semifinals in recent memory. So, because of that, I think this might be DauT's one of the biggest tournament performances of DauT so far if he wins here against Villese. And we didn't even talk about the fact that if he wins here against Villese 3-0, he's gonna have a shot against either DauT or MBL on the bottom part of the bracket. Viper Hera, MBL, DauT, Say My Name, DauT, Winch, Stark. That was Killer Bees Arabia Cup. Yeah, I wouldn't classify that as a super big event. There is some good names, but like when you're missing, let's say Nico, when you're missing Tato, those are the players that usually get into the quarterfinals and defeat players like DauT, for example. So the problem is that you have a good lineup of players, but I don't think it's good enough to say that, okay, you can consider that a huge event. It was indeed a good lineup. I'm just saying that it's a little bit easier to get into the semifinals in a tournament like that compared to a tournament like this, which is just so stacked with all the top players. Anyways, we are going to have Villese here playing as Celts in the right side in blue. Celtic Men-at-Arms have been super strong in KOTD so far. On the other hand, I'm a little bit surprised that we're seeing Celts here and not Mayans. Other side, DauT is playing Chinese. Once again, as I said, if he feels like he can win this one without showing his planned strategies for next round, he is going to do that. So probably a very standard Chinese play is what we're going to see here from DauT. Looking at his base, this is far from amazing, but not so bad. That is Villese laming some sheep away from his opponent. DauT is also planning on laming a bit here. He could steal some sheep from the left side. But yeah, Villese, it appears that he's going to take 2 sheep away. Not the end of the world, because you can just push in 1 deer to compensate for that. So yeah, this actually is a very similar map, I think, compared to Villese versus Tato. You are probably right. Like, the map is very similar in that aspect. You had a wood line here, you had a gold here, you had a berries here, and it appears that Villese is able to steal 2 goats here from DauT because, well, it is what it is. So DauT is going to be down by 2 goats. We are going to have a pre-milled rush from Villese here. Super early barracks. Pre-milled rush didn't work in the previous game, but once again, DauT might be able to scout this. I like the barracks placement, because if you place this barracks close to your TC, it means DauT is not going to get close to your TC, because it's a dangerous move to get this close to the TC. So instead of dropping the barracks over here or here where it could be scouted by DauT, he places it intentionally close to the TC, so DauT will not go close to the TC and scout this. So DauT has no idea that this is happening. Other side for DauT, he's got quite a lot of villagers on wood already, adding villagers to gold. He could be considering an archer build over here, as we are at 21 pop. The problem here for Villese is that by the time his militias arrive, this is pretty much going to be Feudal Age as well for DauT. He's also making his own militias. Let's see, now he's going to spot the militias coming in here from Villese. This is actually very bad for DauT. He could lose a villager here. He could lose more. He has his villagers trapped. He might need to delete the mill. This is a tough decision to make. He's either gonna lose villagers or he deletes the mill. The drush is really working here for Villese. So he's gonna kill 1 more villager. Villese can always run away with his militias because his own militias are faster than DauT's militias here. But this wasn't great for DauT. Thankfully for DauT, he's Chinese, so he actually would have a villager lead by default. So it's not like he's really going to fall behind. It's more like, okay, he's gonna lose his eco bonus here. So technically this is still good for Villese. On the other hand, I feel like DauT is not dead just yet. Let's see what Villese is planning. Looking at his base layout, this could be a Drush FC, and indeed he didn't click up just yet. 26 villagers. Villese is gonna go with Drush FC and maybe go for a Huang Rush here. I think that could be the plan. DauT on the other hand, 25 villagers up. This would be 26 with Chinese. Looks like a drush flush, as it appears that a 4th militia will be added here by Villese. DauT, just 2 militias dancing around, adds 2 more. And it appears that Villese is actually going to do an Omega drush here. Adds 2 more militias. He feels like there is blood in the water, and he could try picking off some more villagers from DauT here. Let's see, DauT has 3 militias right now. He could hold against this one if he pulls the villagers to fight. This is a tough one. DauT is going to have a better fuelage time, so this means he's going to have this scout with the extra attack. Extremely helpful in such a scenario. DauT adds a militia instead of getting the man-at-arms upgrade here. And right now Villese can just harass DauT as much as he can. On the other hand, Villese is going to have a pretty clean Drush FC over here, or is it going to be a clean one? He lamed 2 sheep, but it's 140 food in the bank only for Villese with no deers pushed in, so I'm not 100% convinced that Villese is going to have the food to get up into Castle Age here. And well, DauT is now going to take this fight here, loses the scout. That's a huge mistake from DauT. That was a massive mistake. The lack of information is going to hurt him quite badly here. And now he's got 5 militias. Let's see if he's going to get the man-at-arms upgrade. With 5 militias like this, it could be justified to get the man-at-arms upgrade. Add a few archers and try to bash your way through the opponent's walls. 5 man-at-arms deal with Vo was super fast here. So yeah, because my game was messing around at the beginning, I think we're like a half a minute behind, so I will try to speed up a tiny bit to get there while there is nothing super interesting happening. So Villese is still trying to do some damage here, but most of those militias are weak. Maybe they can pick off one more villager though. Oh, DauT, that's so bad. This, like, DauT's game is in game number 1 was very good. Game number 2 somewhat sloppy. Game number 3 super sloppy, but still, as I said, 4 or 5 man-at-arms with the support of an archer can bash their way into the base of your opponent super easily. Villese comes in here to repair, and he's just gonna sacrifice some HP from his vills. I think DauT needs like one more archer to be very confident at denying that. But as I said, at some point Villese is gonna have to run back. He will be able to click up into Castle Age here. So at the end of the day, he is going to castle, and that will probably mean that he's gonna have knights and potentially go for a Hoang rush, but he needs to survive against the man-at-arms, and that's going to be a little bit tricky here. So this could still be dangerous. DauT trying to finish off those militias will eventually be successful at doing so. So now he can finish those guys off. Fletching on the way for Villese, he's gonna make some archers here, so he wants to go Drush FC crossbows instead of the knights play. And Villese so far is doing an excellent job just repairing those houses, not losing a lot. And he is almost halfway towards Castle Age here. Again, I'm gonna add a little bit of a speed here so we actually catch up with the live game. Nice contingency votes from Villese. And, well, those go down once again. One of the wood lines is lost. Villese has another wood line at the back, and he can still mass a lot of archers. DauT, on the other hand, is not super far away from clicking up to Castle Age himself. Villese has to invest a lot of wood into, like, rebuilding those houses. DauT eventually will have to run back once he sees his opponent is Castle Age. Yes, indeed, he needs to run back, maybe add a few skirmishers. He can buy himself up to Castle Age here. He's got 400 gold. He could easily buy himself up. He actually adds a stable here. Goes for a defensive tower. Again, just safe plays. He knows that he could be in trouble if he doesn't have a tower on that, and he just idles his TC so he can click up. Not ideal, because eventually he's going to fall behind in villager count quite badly because of this. But at the end of the day, he is on the way towards Castle Age, and he still has the man-at-arms and the archers harassing here. Crossbows being produced by Villese should be able to force this one away. DauT loses a will, loses 2 here on the TC. And I think DauT could add a few archers or a few skirms to deal with this one. +1/+1 skirms could actually be okay at dealing with initial crossbows that do not have armor. Right now, I think Villese is trying to dive in. This is looking very good for Villese right now. DauT is falling behind in villagers quite massively. And the Drush already had its effect. Villese is willing to sacrifice his army for a chance to kill a lot of villagers from DauT over here, and he is gonna have that chance. DauT has to evacuate both of his wood lines. This is looking very bad for DauT right now. And as I said, as good as the first game was for DauT, this game is very, very bad right now for him. And so far, his performance has been going more and more downwards in these games. Like, as I said, first game was crystal clean. Second game, he had a good feudal defense, then a rather sloppy castle age. And now, this one, oh my goodness, I think DauT is dead. I don't see DauT coming back into this one. Villese is a good enough player to punish him for this. Look at the eco of DauT. DauT is behind by 8 villagers. This is going to be a super fast game over here, I think. Because DauT just has no safe wood. Here comes Crossbow with Botkin for DauT. But he's got no real resource income. 12 idols consistently. And as I said, DauT, I was relatively confident that he can free 0 Villese over here after seeing the first 2 games. But on the other hand, this one was an absolute disaster for DauT. From the moment he died to the Drush, this wasn't looking great. On the other hand, he's behind by 8 villagers and the wood upgrade. Technically, Vilese's lead is huge. But this might not be an insurmountable lead. Now we're live with the game. DauT needs to kill villagers here. That is absolutely clear. So, DauT needs to find at least 2 or 3 villagers killed to compensate for all his losses because he is behind. But this might not be a completely lost game. Of course, make no mistake, DauT is not in a great spot by any means. But there might be a chance that with a good macro and potentially some nice snipes on a wood line, for example, he could potentially mount a comeback here, but this should be Vilese's game. Anyways, DauT is going to loop around. As I said, he's probably going to try and hit this wood line. Villese is on 3 TCs. And this game is very similar to what we have seen in the previous one, just the other way around. One of the players took very, very significant beating before reaching Castle Age. And now he's just trying to catch up. If Villese plays this game the way that DauT did in the previous one, he should have this. He's going to have the eco advantage. He has enough crossbows to justify a forward siege workshop here and mangonels. We'll see if that's the case. DauT is thinking about ballistics with that university being created over there. And it appears he's just going to try to bash his way into the base of Villese. Villese needs to pull back his archers. He's got 1 armor. DauT has that one as well. Once again, I think that Villese is going to be able to defend against this one. DauT cannot afford to lose army here, so he needs to be very, very precise with his army control. And once he sees the crossbows coming in, he should definitely disengage. Indeed, he's going to go for that. On the other hand, look at these crossbows moving in, and as I said, you just need 1 or 2 good, a little bit more than that, but 3 or 4 villager picks can really help you out, and DauT is just going to move in on the farming eco. Also, taking the hill over here, he has ballistics, so with good micro, I know that's a lot to think about, but with good micro, DauT could actually take an amazing engagement. In fact, he is using his knight to soak up the arrow fire, picks off the monk, finishes off Vilese's army here, and simultaneously picks off some villagers on Vilese's food eco. DauT is slowly climbing back into this game. The recent 2 minutes have been pretty good for DauT, and he's got the military advantage. He's still behind by eco, but he can harass the wood lines a tiny bit over here, and the next batch of crossbows once again could do quite a lot of damage. I like that DauT is splitting up his army and just trying to harass wherever he can, try to disrupt the eco of Villese. DauT going with 4 on stone. So he wants to either get a castle up in the distant future, or more likely he wants to add additional TCs here. Castles will be on the mind of Villese as well, who will need to make a tech switch into Wood Raiders at some point. DauT now getting heavy plow in as well. He does have wheelbarrow, same thing for Villese, but once again DauT has this hill over here, a little bit annoying, not really dealing a lot of damage though. On top of those villagers for now. DauT is gonna have this hill as well. Villese with +1 armor, same for DauT, but Villese is without ballistics. So technically, DauT can just out-micro his opponent quite easily over here. Indeed, there is a double siege workshop from Villese. I think he didn't want to finish this one. He just wanted to wall this one off so the crossbows can get in. DauT once again taking the hill, taking a rather decent fight over here. Remember, it's ballistics versus no ballistics. And also DauT denying that wood line. Villese is gonna have issues with the wood income soon. This is the only good wood line for Villese. This one is getting harassed. This one has 1 villager on it. This one is denied. So Villese doesn't have a lot of wood income available for him. This should be a cleanup for Villese over there. And there's the siege workshop from DauT, and even though he is behind quite a bit in terms of economy, technically it is possible for DauT to try and push this one with some manganose and pretty much play like Hoang usually does. Have a weak eco but a strong castle age push here. Once again, DauT doesn't have a lot of, or Villese doesn't have a lot of wood to work with. Oh, this is so unfortunate for Villese. I'm just noticing this. Look at this. Super open left side with no wood lines. That hurts so badly because DauT can just harass the right side and deny all the wood income. Look at that. 2 crossbows denying this TC foundation, even though now they're gonna get cleaned up. And it appears that Villese just wants to drop a defensive castle here. 14 on stone right now for him. I think he wants a castle here. Castle here would actually secure that wood line, but DauT comes in here with the siege workshop and the mangonel. As bad as DauT looked in the beginning of Castle Age, he's slowly climbing back in this one. 3 TCs now for DauT. He's gonna have the heal advantage. DauT! That's a beautiful ground attack there from Villese, and I just jinxed DauT super hard over here. I was just about to say that DauT is slowly climbing back into this game, but now he just absolutely mismicroed those units, and he just lost like 10 crossbows in the mangonel for absolutely no units killed. That's a disaster for DauT, and every unit he loses hurts so much because he's behind by 40 villagers here. And I'm pretty sure that Villese will soon be able to drop a castle, and he's getting close to clicking Imperial here. This is not looking great for DauT. Before the crossbows were killed, this would have been good for DauT. Once again, that mango is gonna do a decent damage on the crossbows, but not really justifying the cost of that mango. The mango micro here is just way better for Villese. Look at that. But still, remember that Villese doesn't have a safe wood income, even though now he secures this part of his base, so he should have that. Castle is going up, and I think DauT is trying to delay the inevitable here, just as much as he won the previous game by having a huge advantage at the beginning of Castle Age. Villese is going to do the same thing here. Villese has a so big lead that it seems virtually impossible for DauT to climb back into this one. Even with great micro, this seems rather impossible for DauT. He's gonna eat a big mango shot, and he's just too slow catching up. Technically, he's not super far away from clicking Imp here, looking at the food count, but Villese is already on the way to Imperial with a 36 villagers lead. This is just not looking great for DauT by any means. Unable to finish that mango off. No repair villager for DauT over here. That's a 1 HP, and DauT, you know what he says. He makes castles to win games or lose games. This castle is gonna go up, but it's not going to matter. The reason why it's not mattering is because Villese is going to be Imperial and he will trap this one down, and Villese has 0 chance to snipe trebuchets over there. If Villese didn't have this castle up here, this would be great from DauT. And I can't really blame DauT for trying this, but this alone isn't going to win the game for him. Villese is going to have a second castle here on the left side as well, at a pretty nice position, and DauT is not even close to clicking Imp here. So yeah, this looks like lost cause here for DauT. On the other hand, one thing to consider is that DauT is actually getting close to clicking Imp, and Villese needs to make a tech switch into Void Raiders, and that takes some time. Villese is doing a beautiful job with that though, getting Chainmail. He already has good Void Raider numbers. But DauT is gonna have an easier time in Imperial because he can just upgrade to Arbalests. So he will have an army that scales a lot better right now. The downside of the Arbalest army, on the other hand, is that Void Raiders are just outrunning them. However, if DauT can keep this castle alive and make this into a trap war, this could still be interesting. Because if this is a trap war, then Villese could lose his castles and his chance to produce Void Raiders. It appears that Villese will try to play this one with siege rams, which is something that is understandable against a crossbow play here. Villese has a decent eco here at the back of his base, still 40 villagers difference. Unless Villese makes a huge mistakes, he shouldn't lose this game. Villese, on the other hand, is making traps. First one is being set up over here. DauT has zero chance to snipe that trap. He has nothing. He's got crossbows garrisoned inside the castle for healing and trying to take that TC down, but DauT will need to repair this castle for now. Rams will pop out anytime for Villese. DauT needs this castle. If he loses this castle, he's gonna have zero chance of killing this one from Villese. So basically the only win condition for DauT, as I see it, is if he somehow keeps this castle up and wins this trap fight, which seems nearly impossible the way I see it. I like that DauT is dropping some outposts here, but once again his eco is just so weak, and oh, Villese, that must be so annoying for DauT. DauT was already behind by quite a significant eco. Just a few leftover crossbows from Castle Age from Villese doing insane damage to DauT's eco, because that's a huge damage. DauT indeed will have to bail out on that castle. And once Elite Void Raiders are in for Villese, he can just swarm the map with Void Raiders. DauT's eco is wide open. He will just be raided to absolute death here. I don't think that DauT can win this game. He is, as I said, delaying the inevitable. That 3,000 score difference is absolutely legit, and kind of shows the difference between the two players here. DauT, from the moment where he died to the rush, or at least lost 2 or 3 villagers, after the fact that he lost a huge amount of villagers to the crossbows, this was just not his game. So, Villese again securing a foothold over here. DauT trying to get something out of his orbs, but I mean, he's got 25 orbs on the left side of the map. Villese is gonna have a bunch of Void Raiders and traps on the right side. DauT is trying, but I think if he saw what we are seeing right now, he would already GG. I don't think he understands how much behind he is. Now, being fair, if he kills all these villagers, there might be a very minor chance of being able to do anything. Ground attacks not working for DauT here, and that's where the Void Raiders might just swarm the eco of DauT. He's gonna lose this castle. He's gonna lose everything on the right side. He will kill a few wills from Villese, but he's gonna have nothing left. Look at this. Soon the Rams and the Void Raiders will just swarm the right side, and the more castles Villese has, the better it is going to be for the Void Raider spam. So, DauT is trying, but this is not gonna happen. Now it's DauT losing villagers down to 81. He is killing a few from Villese, but Villese still has 124 and it's 43 to 15 military. DauT just taps out of this one. And I think it's a very disturbing sight for DauT that he is dropping in performance in this series. Because the main concern is the main concern for DauT is not that he lost this game. It is that he lost this game in a rather disappointing manner, making quite a lot of mistakes. Like, the rush defense wasn't amazing, then he just pretty much died through crossbows. I'm not saying that he played very bad, but he definitely underperformed compared to what we have seen from him in the previous rounds and in the previous games against Villese. And Villese might smell the blood in the water right now, and we didn't even talk about the fact that now, I believe, the Civ advantage is actually on the side of Villese. Because if you take a look at what is left here for Villese and DauT, Villese still has Mayans available, whereas for DauT, he's left with Slavs, Britons, and Saracens. One of those civs, namely the Britons, are actually awful in this tournament. So I feel like Villese with Mayans now, or maybe even either Kumans or Huns, he could make this tie game. It's very tough to say. I think DauT needs to try going for Slavs. Like either Slavs or Saracens. There is no way he should use Britons. And I'm still saying that based on the first 2 games, he could try and save his Saracen strategy for the final game. Or for the upcoming series tomorrow, if he gets... Not tomorrow, next week. Okay, I'm falling apart just as well as DauT is doing. So, he could still try to save Saracens for next weekend if he gets there. But I don't think that he should save... Like, if he has a good Saracen strategy... Like, we have seen that against Leary. The scouts play. into Knights with Saracens. He did defeat Leary with that. And I think that strategy is a little bit dangerous. It's a risky strategy and there is no guarantees it's gonna work. And for that reason, I wouldn't pick that 7 decider game in a best of 5. So if Villese wins this one, there is an argument for DauT not picking Saracens because it's a risky strategy. So all in all, it depends on how DauT is feeling. If he's very confident he can win with Britons or Slavs in the next game, then he should pick those. But if he's not confident he can beat Villese in the upcoming game, there could be a strong argument made for using Saracens right now and potentially saving up Slavs for a decider game here. So, let's see if we have the game up. Oh, I need to restart my game once again. It is pretty frustrating that every time I finish a game, I need to restart my game because the spectate button doesn't work. But luckily they haven't launched up the game yet, so we're not going to fall behind because of that. So we're going up to game number 4 here. Mayans versus Slavs would be an interesting matchup. And I think the 2 best civilizations remaining for the players is there. And let's see what we have. We have Mayans versus Slavs. Mayans have played 0 games versus Slavs so far. So this is going to be the first matchup if that happens. Slavs indeed have a 64% win rate, so they could be your budget Khmer player. In fact, Khmer have lost 4 out of 4 games against Slavs, which is a super interesting stat. Alright, my game is launching and we should be getting into game number 4 over here. This is the first series of the day, followed up by MBL versus Dogao, Viper versus Yo, and finally Hera versus Leary. It's very interesting that this series is actually turning out to be rather close, but it is close because there is just a change in who is the actual dominant player in one of these games. So the individual games aren't close, but the series is, because first 2 games DauT was very dominant. In this game, Villese was very dominant. So it's still a better situation for DauT just because he's at match point. So he has a little bit more room for error. And we are going to have an interesting Civ matchup over here. We are jumping into game number 4 with what is a Cuman versus Slavic matchup. Villese on the left side with Cumans in blue, right side for DauT as Slavs in red. It's very hard to say which of these civs I prefer, but I would be tempted to go for Slavs. The thing is that if Cumans go for a double TC boom over here, DauT can go for what could be a Drush of C, for example, and Slavic siege push is actually pretty good. So we will see. We have seen how many different strategies are available with Cumans. You can go double TC boom, but that's a little bit risky. You can play tower rush with rams. You can potentially go scouts and try to superiorize your opponent this way, but I feel like I like Slavs here a little bit better. Looking at the bases of the players, DauT has okay berries. He's got a woodland at the back. Gold is safe. Stones aren't great, but this woodland is actually pretty nice for walling purposes. Not the best map at all, but it's definitely better than what DauT had before. So war here, war here, war here. You have a safe woodland at the back, war here, and you can just war here and you are absolutely set. Other side for Villese, this map is actually rather unfortunate. In fact, this is an awful map. Look at this. He's got the berries out in the open, technically wallable. Left side is quite open. This gold mine is in the middle of the nowhere. And what is even worse is the right side. All of these gold and stone mines are rather exposed, and they are clustered together, which means that if you lose the right side of your base, you lose all of these minerals. So this is very, very, very problematic for Villese over here. Technically, this is a wallable map for Villese. He could even consider walling like this, and and then using this gold mine, for example. But this is going to be a little bit more challenging to wall for Villese. We'll soon see what he's up to, and he's adding 3 villagers to wood only, so I assume this could be a Kuman fast feudal, and maybe scouts, honestly. I don't think he's gonna go for double TC boom, because the thing is that the double TC boom is so predictable, and even if DauT is not going for a fast castle, he should still have a better castle age time than his opponent, because if you compare, let's say, a scouts into knights build with a Kuman boom, the Kuman boom has a slower castle age time. So because of that, the Slavic player should have a better castle age time, get a few knights out, and then go for a mangonel push. So I don't really like the chances of Kumans against Slavs in early castle age. On the other hand, keep checks can be very annoying for Slavs to deal with, and that's something to consider. Alright, Villese is gonna do quite a lot of walls and going in with Loom super early on. This Loom is just meant to make sure these villagers don't get killed by DauT, that's it. But he's committing 3 villagers to walling already. That's a huge commitment, and DauT is going to see it. DauT is going to see that this is super early walls with Loom. If he clicks the villager, he is going to see that this is Loom, and the only reason why you do Loom this fast is to make sure that your villagers you are walling with are safe, and that implies that Villese is very likely to go for a super defensive approach here. So DauT from this should know that Villese is playing very defensive here, and what could be a Kuman boom. A little bit greedy to my taste, I believe. It's a risky play from Villese, at minimum. Anyways, even the hunt is being pushed in, and Villese is like to pick up at 19 or 20 pop. Probably 20 pop is his benchmark, but he might not be able to go 20 pop because he's using 3, 4, 5 villagers to walling. And when you wall with this many villagers, your eco is going to suffer from that. So even with all the deer pushed in, this might still end up being a 21 pop build, because all those villagers committed to walling will actually have an effect on your eco. Indeed, this is a 21 pop build, despite the fact that in the majority of the Kuman booms, you are seeing a 20 pop build. DauT is coming in here with the Drush. He has the scout here as well. There is still an opening, I believe. Indeed, Villese is trying to ward that one off, but that is a weak villager already. And even though the Lion is chasing DauT's militia, that should be at least 1 villager kill for DauT, but at minimum, a whole lot of damage dealt. DauT is gonna have a lot of villagers to fight against here, as he is gonna bring in the 3rd militia. Wasn't as effective for him as it could have been, but he delayed Villese's feudal age quite massively, and there was a lot of idle time on Villese's TC as well. So DauT is already ahead by 2 villagers, despite the fact that we are just 25 seconds into the age up process of Villese. So, on the other hand, DauT, I think he's going Drush FC here. And with those villagers, yes, this is a Drush FC, exactly the way you want to play against Villese here. Also, beautiful plays from DauT, sniping Villese's scout with the militias. He's got 2 HP left on that scout. It actually gives him a very good intel at Villese's base. And remember, DauT sees this. DauT knows exactly that the angle to push is going to be this one. Villese is very likely to drop the TC around here or here, as Villese is actually getting villagers up on stone, interestingly. DauT is going to see that. I think this is just villagers, you know, taking their time, getting some resources, but eventually this is going to be a TC build here, because this woodland is a lumber camp, so this is probably the most legit spot, and DauT knows exactly that he needs a siege workshop over here. So, siege workshop, and look at that. By the time Villese reaches feudal age to drop the 2nd TC, DauT is about to click up to feudal. He has the Slavic farming as well helping out, which is super helpful for an FC build. DauT is even going for a late fast castle, so it's going to be 29 villagers overall for him. And yeah, if DauT drops a siege workshop here, it's going to be insanely hard to defend against, because DauT is going to have a way better castle age time than Villese will. I don't like this play from Villese, and DauT reacts quite nicely to this one. So, look at this. This is going to be a super clean Drush FC build. DauT doesn't even need to bother walling. He just needs to scout that Villese is going for double TCs, What Villese could still do is try to go for scouts, but I don't... at least add a few scouts to deal with the forward. But I don't think it's gonna matter, and that's why it's so important for DauT that he killed the scout of Villese, because now Villese cannot snipe forward villagers. Villese has no information. This is all that Villese sees. And that's going to hurt. In fact, Villese doesn't even see the other stone and gold mine here, which hurts quite a bit for him, because if he sees this, he would know that DauT will push from this angle. Because it's so obvious for DauT to push this angle, because he can deny both stone mines. And one of the best ways for Kumans to deal with a mangonel push is by getting their castle up for kip checks. However, if you deny both stones, there is going to be no castle here. And look at that. At this point of the game, Villese will pretty much just have even villager count compared to DauT. DauT might even be going up without loom, indeed. DauT is going very greedy and plays without loom, but goes for loom and one villager here and an archer range, interestingly. I like that. Because the knights are a little bit easier to deal with, especially with a fully walled Kuman player. Few spearmen can defend against that. This is something we talked about with Nili when I co-casted him yesterday, that if you have the freedom to choose between archers or crossbows versus knights, you might be better off with the archer play. Because at the end of the day, crossbows, just 2 crossbows here deny this wood line. A crossbow here, a crossbow here, a crossbow here, and there is no wood income for Villese. Villese has one safe wood line, and DauT knows that very, very well. So, yeah, indeed, DauT is gonna go for archers and probably a forward siege workshop will come in. Look at that. That's a 1633 castle age time for DauT. Villese is not even close. And even if he goes for, like, defensive tower, let's say against the mangonel push, those are feudal age towers at 700 HP, so they die pretty easily to mangonels. And Slavs will be amazing at that. Let's see where DauT is gonna send that villager. DauT could potentially push the left side. I don't think he knows about the TC here. The farm here is just a spectating bug. DauT doesn't know about that. But I think he assumes that that TC has to be over there. Yeah, indeed, he's moving to the right side. He probably knows. Because this is the most legit spot for a TC here. Or other option is here. The boom here from Villese is nice. However, oh, look at Villese though. How is he having this much food? Is he idling his TCs now? Oh, yes. I like it. So basically, one of the reasons why the Kuman boom is a much slower castle age than the other civilizations' castle ages is because Kumans spend a lot more food on going up. What Villese is doing here is a little bit more balanced option. He didn't go full boom. He idled his TCs intentionally for a large amount of time to get a decent castle age time in. So this is not super greedy, but still, the problem here is that he is already behind in castle age time, and by the time he gets up to castle, DauT is gonna have a siege workshop up, DauT is gonna have crossbows in here. What is Villese going to do against that? Villese is making a barracks right now with one villager, makes me believe that he just wants to go for defensive spearman here. Because he probably believes DauT is going knights. Let's see what Villese sees. He sees the archers now. So he knows that it's going to be archer play. The problem for Villese is that he's just adding villagers to stone. So keep checks are just a distant dream right now. And DauT knows exactly that he can just deny that stone mine. Look at that. One crossbow being sent over there to deny that wood line. Exactly what DauT needs. I'm somewhat surprised he didn't send the crossbow here to harass. So even though Villese's play has been a little bit less greedy than it could have been, as DauT's crossbow is shooting the lumber camp instead of the villagers, this is still not really something I like. On the other hand, this could be double stable step lancers. The problem with the step lancers is that DauT is technically fully walled. In practice, he has a massive overchop on this wood line. So DauT could also go for monks, and he can also start denying that gold mine. 2 villagers down for Villese. And if you account for the fact that Slavs also have better farming, I think this is pretty much even eco between the 2 players. DauT, upon seeing the step lancers, which are actually just knights from Villese, he's gonna go for monks, but I don't know if he expects them just yet. Look at that, all the denial on the wood lines. DauT is playing that one super smart right now, and once again, Villese isn't really gonna have the gold to mass knights. Also, just 1 or 2 spears would be immensely helpful for DauT. I don't think that he's expecting the knights though. He sees that there is no villagers on stone, and he knows the other stone is here, so he knows Villese is not making keep checks, which implies that Villese is making something different. Now he sees the Knights. Knights have +1 armor, no bloodlines. So he is gonna have to rush up a monastery immediately. Otherwise, he's gonna lose his mangonels. This is very sloppy from DauT here. Oh boy, he should have thought about the fact that there is going to be Knights coming his way. That was super sloppy from DauT. And that's one of the reasons he's gonna lose the Voyager. I think DauT is doing everything he can to throw away his lead in this series. And this is why the single range crossbow play can be helpful if you can group up your crossbows. But if you can't, then suddenly you are behind in knight numbers. Imagine if DauT went for knights. DauT would have had more knights than Villese, and he could have gone for this push. Now I think DauT is dead. He's gonna be against 6 military with just 3, and the step lancers are always tough to stop. Forward siege workshop on the way for Villese. He can even go for kept rams in feudal age or castle age. And indeed, this build from Villese is very well thought over, not so sharp from DauT, and honestly I think this is the weakest performance of DauT so far. In the last 2 games of DauT is actually the weakest of his entire gameplay in this tournament. So the first 2 games were very sharp from DauT. These are pretty much disasters. I like the crossbow idea if you can group up your crossbows, but I think Knight is a safer build. Knight and Siege would have made it very, very difficult, or Pike and Siege, both works. In fact, Pike and Siege would have been amazing knowing that the stone mine is here and you can just deny that. So, double barracks, Knight and Siege, or Pike and Siege here could have probably defeated Villese because he has nothing to do here. He breaks through the walls. DauT is behind by 7 vehicles. Now DauT is on 3 TCs now and Villese is only on 2. And remember, DauT still has Slavic farming. But from a position where DauT should have won this game, having his opponent with a such bad resource layout, he's now in a position where he's like, okay, I have something, but I'm not winning by any means. He's making Slavic crossbows, which aren't really going to scale very well. And at the end of the day, Villese is going to have his time to get into keep checks, and that's going to be very hard for Slavs to deal with. There is an opening on this wall for whatever reason, so Villese could just gallop inside if he wants to. DauT wants to make a stone mine over there that will be potentially denied by the Knights. Villese will try to bash his way in here, unsuccessful for now. And DauT's theses are getting mangled down here quite hard. Oh man, I really don't like the crossbow play in retrospective. It's easy to be smart now that we have seen the result, but this is why most of these castle age pushes, like Huang always does knight and mangonel. Then arena players do pike and mangonel, because if you don't have decent amount of archers, they will just die to knights so easily. That's a nice conversion for DauT, and he saves the monk as well. That's actually a pretty nice trade for DauT over there, and he's behind by 4 villagers only now. And do not underestimate the power of Slavic farming. He's gonna have a knight out here and he could finish off that mangonel as well. There is no monks for Villese, so that is one mangonel killed. I like that he's sniping the villager because that's actually pretty important at just finishing the or fixing the mangonels. On the other hand, DauT is losing 4 villagers on this stone mine. So this is an even game. This could be anyone's game right now. But I really like that DauT managed to snipe the mangonel here. But he doesn't have, or didn't have the chance to pay attention to this part of his base. And this is not looking great. These openings here are really killing DauT. Look at that. So many villagers killed, and suddenly he's behind in villagers once again. Villese is +1/+2 with his knights, and those knights scale a lot better. Those knights scale a lot better, and those knights are also dealing insane damage to DauT's eco. DauT has 0 villagers on gold right now, all because of these openings. Once again, I feel like DauT is playing okay, but he's making mistakes that are enough for Villese to exploit. And the difference between the DauT that beat Leary and this DauT is that the DauT that beat Leary did not make major mistakes like this. And remember, Villese was good enough to 3-0 Taro, so there is a good chance, like for example, why is this hole not plugged in? That is a huge issue for DauT, because Villese can just run into his base anytime. It's another thing that there is a hole here, because fixing this is harder, but what prevents you from fixing that hole, I have no idea. Not looking great for DauT, I have to say. And the thing is that, once again, I just feel like DauT is having some sloppy moves, and Villese now feels the blood in the water like crazy. He knows that, dude, this is 2-0 for DauT, but this is going to be 2-2 for me very soon. And going into the 5th game, the momentum could be on the side of Villese. Right now, Villese is no longer making huge mistakes. So first 2 games, Villese was rather sloppy, but now I feel like his execution is a lot better than that of DauT's. DauT is behind by 15 villagers, and once again we are seeing why the archers are just not really a good long-term solution against a player that is playing cavalry. They're just too slow catching up. Villagers picked off on the left, picked off on the right, and suddenly DauT is behind by 14 villagers when he was basically even with his opponent a couple of minutes ago. It's very interesting that DauT's, I'm not gonna say DauT's energy drop, but I indeed feel like DauT is getting some attrition in on himself. Because right now, he's playing way less focused than he did in the first 2 rounds. Maybe I just jinxed him. 2 games before, I actually said that DauT is about to get into the semifinals, and this would be his first semifinal performance for a long time. Maybe the semifinal curse persists for DauT here. Maybe he will be eliminated in the quarterfinals once again. In the recent years, he had many quarterfinals performances. Hidden Cups, Arabia Invitationals, other events, where he always lost in the quarterfinals. It seemed like he was about to get into the semifinals over here in a rather easy manner, but Villese says nope. And after this game, especially if Villese wins this, we are going to take a look at how Villese performed in recent tournaments, because I don't remember Villese getting into the semifinals of any major event for a long time either, as DauT is trying to snipe the mangonels. Now Villese brings in the monks to get the conversions in. Trying to get the hill is DauT. He's behind by 15 villagers though, and Villese is getting closer and closer to dropping a castle. And the thing is that, oh boy, Villese wants to win this game here. He knows exactly he has the military advantage. He knows exactly, although this is a little bit dangerous, DauT isn't really trying to stop that one. He needs to delete the house and move out with his pikemen, because running... What is DauT doing? He cannot afford to just run around like this. Villese has enough villagers to make this castle. He should have deleted the house here and tried to stop that castle. Like, there is no way DauT doesn't realize that that castle is gonna go up in his face, and he seemed like he didn't even bother trying to stop this one, but this virtually renders the majority of his farming eco unusable, and no farming eco for Slavs. This is Villese's game, and DauT is in huge trouble, because as good as the first 2 games were for him, these are just falling apart more and more. And in the 3rd game of the series, he died to a Drush, he fell behind an eco, but otherwise played smart. In this one, I feel like he has made quite a lot of at least questionable decisions. It's really hard to say this as a caster because he's still a way better player than I am, but the crossbow play here, the fact that he didn't go for Pike and Siege or Monk and Siege is somewhat debatable, and in retrospective a rather bad decision that it pretty much lost him the game, because he was in a position to punish Villese for this greedy play, but that didn't happen, and now Villese is just absolutely stomping the floor with DauT. Keep checks will be in effect, and DauT is not even close to doing this one. DauT is technically in a position to harass this castle, but that's not gonna happen. He's trying to mount a counterattack. He's not gonna stop that castle, right? He's not gonna stop that castle. He's not gonna stop that castle, and indeed he does not. He's trying to just get into the eco of Villese here, but now the castle is up, Mangonel gets killed, and in the meanwhile DauT is basically losing the majority of his eco. Whereas his army here is nothing scary. Villese is on the way towards Imperial with a very convincing army. He's got 17 on stone. The second castle is gonna be like here or something. Like, he's just gonna drop it right in the face of DauT. Maybe over here in the place of that town center once he mangoes that down. But unless DauT is able to kill like 40 villagers here from Villese and even the ecos, I don't see this one happening for DauT. DauT is just not having enough food to click into Imperial. And as I said, he probably wanted to save Saracens for the next round. Or maybe just used it as bait. But remember that in terms of remaining civilizations, Villese is left with Mayans. Villese still has Mayans, and DauT is left with Britons and Saracens. You either play a very risky Saracen build order against Mayans, or you are going to play with Britons that have the lowest win rate among the civilizations that were picked frequently. 3 wins and 18 losses for Britons in this tournament so far. And you're left with Saracens and Britons against Mayans. Boy oh boy. And if this goes down to a Britons versus Mayans matchup, one will very, very heavily question DauT's decision to go for a Civ that, according to the stats, is very, very disappointing in the tournament so far. Of course, stats are always somewhat misleading because they include the statistics from the qualifiers and whatnot, but still, when a Civ has the lowest win rate in the tournament, that is signaling something in my perspective. Britons versus Mayans? Nope. Britons are too slow for Mayans to deal with. Way too slow. Briton archers will get eaten by plumed archers. Eagle switch is much easier for the Mayans than the longsword switch plus the mobility. I think Mayans would just pretty much clap Britons in 9 games out of 10. Now DauT is still marching inside Vilese's base, and DauT did a decent job running back here, so DauT is not willing to tap out of this one just yet. He sees Villese as an Imperial, but he's not willing to just go out of this game yet, even though he's definitely behind. One thing that Villese doesn't have in his army though. Villese basically is at 40 military compared to 40 for DauT. And now I think Villese just needs knights, by the way. Just to raid DauT's eco to hell, because Villese didn't contest the right side of the map. I think DauT could consider stonewalling here and trying to just somehow hang on to this game. But he's nowhere close to Imperial right now. Is he gonna... yeah, he's gonna mount a pike and siege push here. He's gonna mount a pike and siege push. One final effort from him. He's just massing pikemen in all of his barracks. Would be nice if he got the upgrades. He's even getting some knights in. But it's going to be one big battering ram push. The problem is that there is some mangonels to deal with the battering rams. Maybe delete the archer range here. You probably want to delete this one so you can open up the way for your rams. Same, delete the lumber camp. Basically, all the game relies on this push. Even if this succeeds, DauT is in a pretty bad position. The knights are cleaned up. Kipchaks are doing the work against the pikemen though, and DauT has no response to the Kipchaks right now. As I said, for Slavs, dealing with the Kipchaks is just super hard. So Kipchaks will pretty much wreck the Slavs here. DauT is behind by 40 eco, and Thumbring is on the way. I think one of the castles might go down, but I'm not even sure about this one. And DauT's performance is dropping dramatically in this series. And with that, Villese is evening this out. He 3-0'd Tato. He was behind by 2 games against DauT. But he's got way better civilizations going into game number 5 over here, which raises the questions of the decisions DauT made in the recent games, including the crossbow play here from Slavs, including the draft, including that has Britons in it. There were so many questionable decisions from DauT that seemed like good decisions, because he was winning, but now that he's losing, those are definitely points to address and think about. So yeah, with that, the castle is up. DauT is still trying, but I mean, he is castle age against Imp. Villese is a too good player to throw this game away. DauT calls it, and what appeared to be a stomp, what appeared to be DauT dominating yet another player in this tournament, now seems to be DauT just falling apart. And maybe this is the semifinals curse once again, because DauT, I have to say that he has a very easy chance, relatively, like, compared to what could be possible for him to face. This is a rather easy opponent. Villese instead of, let's say, facing against Viper, Hera, Leary, or DauT, because it is very certain that if DauT is unable to defeat Leary in the group stage, he could have gone up against a player like Hera or a player like Viper with much smaller chances. DauT has a very, very good chance of getting into the semifinals over here, but still, things aren't going the way he would like them to. Look at the KD for Villese, and just this. This drop in the army signaled that DauT lost all his crossbows, and from that point on, just one snowball. He had the better army numbers, but he never was able to touch Vilese's eco, whereas Villese just exploited the mobility to his advantage as perfectly as it is humanly possible. And as I said, DauT, he has all the tools he needs to get into the semifinals over here. He is up against Villese, who is definitely one of the weaker opponents among the remaining players. He doesn't have to face against Leary, he doesn't have to face against Hera, Viper, Yo, MBL. He's getting potentially one of the weaker players out of the 8 remaining ones. In fact, I would argue that if I had to rank the players, I would probably rank Villese 7th or 8th. Probably Viper, Yo, Leary, and Hera are ahead of him. But based on this tournament's performance, I probably rank Dogao and MBL ahead of Villese as well. So the fact that DauT is struggling here against Villese is actually a bad sign for him. He has been very convincing in the tournament so far, but yes, I think a lot of people are underestimating Villese, but on the other hand, DauT was very, very dominant in a lot of performances. DauT 3-0'd Nikov, smashed him. DauT won 3-2 against Leary. And now we're seeing him somewhat struggle against Villese. Villese is strong, but on the other hand, Villese got 3-1'd by Hera, for example. So it's not an undefeatable opponent. True, Villese 3-0'd Vivi and Villese 3-0'd DauT, but the fact that he lost 3-1 to Hera means that he definitely isn't playing without mistakes. And if you just compare the fact that Hera 3-1'd Villese and DauT 3-2'd Leary, I would assume that it is DauT who has the advantage in this matchup particularly. But now, we are left with a situation where the civilizations left are massively favoring Villese. He's got Mayans and Huns left. Technically, Huns are possible, because he could just use Mayans as a bait, but if I had to predict, I'm gonna say 70% chance Mayans is going to be the pick here for Villese. But what are Britons gonna do here? Britons are super bad here. Look at that. 18% win rate. By far the worst in the game, or in the tournament, among the civilizations that were actually picked more than, let's say, 10 times. Saracens, on the other hand, 2-3 is the win-loss ratio. Saracens actually was, I think, the game-free civilization for DauT against Leary when he was down by 2 games. So, when it really mattered, DauT brought in Saracens. I think he needs to go Saracens. It's a risky call, especially against Mayans. On the other hand, Britons feel like a suicide against Mayans. Overall, the Civ matchup isn't great, even in a standard Arabia, but especially seeing the statistics, Mayans with one of the best win rates in the tournament. I'm not sure if we had any Britons versus Mayans fights, but yep, here it is. 2 matchups, Britons versus Mayans, both of them are defeats for Britons. So, this isn't looking great for DauT, not gonna lie, and as I promised, I wanted to check what Villese's results were in previous tournaments, because this could be his ticket into the semifinals, and let's be honest, he got a very tough group. Hera, Villese, DauT, and Vivi were the people in the group, and I think a lot of people before the tournament would have suspected that Villese is going to be the first player out of that group, and Hera, DauT, and Vivi will battle it out. Nope, it's Vivi pretty much getting beaten by DauT, beaten by Villese. So, DauT getting 3-0'd by Villese over here, secured a spot for Villese, and looking at all these performances, Red Bull Volo to 9 to 16th. Hidden Cup 3 9 to 16th as well. He got semifinals in the Bonjour Fight Night that had quite a lot of decent players. That's actually a good result, but it's not a super major tournament. Fairsafes Cup 9 to 16th, NAC Free 7 to 9th, Mangara Shallows Cup 5th to 8th here. So once again, another player that didn't really have a semifinals performance for a long time. The last time we saw a semifinals in a rather huge tournament from Villese was ECL Southeast Asia 1v1s. Third, fourth. Fun fact, the first tournament I casted was ECL Southeast Asia. So back when I started casting was basically the last time Villese actually achieved semifinals in a major tournament. And that's a long time. So this could be the best series or best tournament performance of Villese's career. And he just one game away from that in a rather favorable Civilization matchup against DauT, who was looking like he was falling apart in the final two games. We will be jumping into game number 3 or game number 5 in a moment. Yes, I need to restart my game. Right. So we are gonna have Britons versus Mayans. Boy oh boy, I don't like this. Apparently DauT just picked Saracens as a bait, but Britons have 3 wins out of 21 games in the entire tournament. The worst win-loss ratio in the tournament for any civ that was picked more than 10 times. Mayans, on the other hand, very good Civilization. 60% win rate with 30 picks here. Looking very promising for Villese over here in terms of Civilization matchup. Alright. The game is loading up, so we'll be in there in a brief moment, and then we can jump inside the next game. So, Mayans versus Britons. I don't like this from DauT. Even picking Britons and not using them would have been something I would have disliked from DauT, let alone just picking Britons over here. Villese is blue Mayans on the right side, and DauT is left Britons. So this isn't looking great, and why is... the game is frozen for me. That's great. This happened to me yesterday when I was casting with Nilly. End of game data. Yeah, this is not great. I'm not sure what caused it, but I had to restart my game to do to fix that. Hopefully it's not gonna happen once again here. Feels like another de-spectating bug. Okay, let's try this once again. Speed up stuff here so we can catch up. We're gonna have berries at the back for Villese, but his southern part is super open. Villese comes in here with what could be a laming attempt, steals 2 goats to start the game with. And remember, he can heal the eagle inside his town center, so that is a huge advantage. Even if he goes for layman, this elephant is definitely lameable. Usually the elephants spawn at the back of your base, and because of that it's hard to lame. Villese will still be satisfied by stealing away 2 sheep, and this is super important. You steal sheep from Britons. The Briton eco bonus in Dark Age, the sheep gathering speed. You can actually remove that by, or at least kind of limit that by stealing some sheep from your opponent. So this actually matters quite a lot for DauT over here that he lost 2 sheep. Coming in is a barracks from Villese. Technically his map is suitable for a Drush FC if he was like the way he's doing right now. So there should be no trouble over here. We are almost live with the game. Villese coming in to try and snipe a villager from DauT. That is no loom for DauT, and Villese is going to pick off a villager. DauT is falling apart. And once again, the more I see from this series, the more I feel like DauT is not gonna get into the semifinals once again. And I gotta be honest, because of all the upsets, the bracket is looking like it's looking. Most of the people are saying that it's a little bit unfair at the end of the day, that the top 4 players are at the top part of the bracket, and the bottom 4 are definitely the bottom 4 players of the lineup. But on the other hand, this might have been the easiest bracket DauT has received in a long time. So maybe he's never gonna receive another good bracket like this. There was a need for so many upsets for this bracket to be generated. Charts performances, DauT upsetting Leary. There were so many factors adding up to this, and DauT's rather easy bracket over here could still mean no semifinals for him. There is apparently a Drush FC here from DauT with Britons, whereas the response from Villese is going to be Man-at-Arms Towers play. I think that Villese might have considered the Drush into Archers, but now he sees DauT is going Drush FC. This is DauT's primary wood line. DauT has to relocate his Lumberjacks. There is one good wood line left for DauT. Oh my goodness, things are falling apart here for our Serbian player faster than ever. In 1 hour, he was able to get a 2-0 lead over Villese. In the next hour, he just lost all of that advantage here, because now DauT is in huge trouble. Like, this wanted to be a Drush FC, but he's not even close in terms of gold to getting there. He doesn't have the food for that. Villagers are breaking into the base of Villese, as we now have live games. So sorry for that. Apparently the spectating thing actually delayed us a tiny bit. But, well, at this point, DauT is not in a great spot. He has not lost this game completely, but he's behind by 2 villagers. One comes from a villager lost to the Eagle. The other one comes from the Mayan's extra villager. DauT is gonna have 2 militias in here, so maybe he can actually compensate for that tiny bit. Goes in with double bit X just yet, so he knows that his castle age is going to be delayed quite significantly over here. So with that in mind, Man-at-Arms are still bashing their way in here. DauT is going to be fine defending against this one, but he has to kind of cancel his plans going into Castle Age here for a huge amount of time. Because at the end of the day, this is still not a click up, and this gives time for Villese. Normally a Drush FC can work nicely against the Man-at-Arms play. We have seen this in the previous series, I believe. No, not the previous series. I'm getting lost here. In one of the previous games between DauT and Villese, right? We see this. That I think DauT was the one that went for Man-at-Arms Archers. I think it was game 3. And Villese went for the Drush FC. Drush FC can beat the Man-at-Arms play, because you're gonna have a better cast stage time and the crossbows will wreck the archers. That's basically the principle of that. However, by having DauT delay his castle age this badly, Villese pretty much can catch up, and I think he could be on the way to castle age if he didn't go for the plumed archer play here, because he's definitely adding villagers to stone, so he can get plumed archers right when he reaches castle age. Plumed archers will just be dominating against the crossbows of the Britons. DauT has a very, very narrow window to do damage here. Like, super narrow. Basically, these archers or crossbows will have to be able to deal huge damage to Villese here. I really like that Villese is actually mining gold over here, using these villagers to something. So, not only he is stealing some gold from DauT, more important it is that he doesn't have to walk all the way back. And look at that, this is what I was talking about. It's a 1 minute difference in castle age times, with the Mayan player having a very, very good shot at dropping a castle right when he reaches castle age here. One archer only from Villese is going to be so annoying for DauT to deal with, even though DauT has archers back at home, so he should be able to clean that one up without problems. But DauT has only one safe wood line, and Villese knows that one as well. So here come the crossbows, or soon to be crossbows, from DauT. DauT, I think, might know about the stone mine. Nope. He is just about to scout it. And Villese will be forced to make another defensive tower. Now, the thing is that if there is no plumed archers for Villese, DauT still has a chance. Because the Briton crossbows train faster, even though Mayan crossbows are cheaper. So DauT should have temporary numbers advantage. With fast ballistics, I can potentially see DauT, especially using the cheaper TCs, to go for fast ballistics, squeeze out at least one additional TC, and in the meanwhile, win the crossbow war. If Mayans can get to plumed archers here, I am pretty sure DauT is dead. Or the other option is that Mayans get to Eagle, and the Eagle switch could happen anytime. In fact, I'm somewhat surprised that Villese is just adding skirmishers here, not playing for the Eagle switch. I think he wants plumed archers. I wonder, like, if he goes for the Eagle switch, that would have been a little bit harder for DauT to deal with. And I'm starting to like DauT's position more and more. Okay, now there is at least one Eagle scout being added, but DauT can harass the left side of Vilese's base, right side, and I don't like this from Villese. Elite skirm with Mayans is not the way to go. I mean, it's going to force away DauT's crossbows, but I feel like this could have been an Eagle switch, and that's something that Britons will struggle against. They can add Knights to deal with the Eagles, or they can add Longswords, but Longswords are slow. Knights don't scale that well into Imperial for Britons. So, for all of that, I feel like Eagle switch here, or just trying to match the crossbow numbers would both have been acceptable. Let's see if DauT is going to make a stable to deal with those skirms. He did not go for fast ballistics, he's going for a second TC on the wood line. And he is going to send the crossbows back. I think Villese is insisting on plumed archers. There, as I said, a lot is on the line here. The winner of this gets into the semifinals, so Villese might be like, okay, I'm not confident in my Eagle play. So as the man-at-arms bash their way in here, not really a big deal. So, basically, I could see Villese just thinking, okay, I want my plumed archers for this matchup. And, technically, he's now adding additional TCs, so that plumed archer play is going to be quite heavily delayed. But I really love how he's consuming all this gold from DauT. This is going to hurt for DauT in the long run. Look at this. He's using up all the gold from DauT over here, and then DauT is gonna have a harder time getting a little bit more gold for himself. DauT is losing the archers here as well. Once again, Villese seems to be in the driver's seat. And remember that Villese isn't really making a lot of army. He's making a few skirms, and that is it. We now have a pause, apparently. So, in the long run, if you're talking about Imperial, Mayans will dominate this matchup. Technically, Britons have the answer to Eagles. In reality, we have seen so many times that Eagles will just raid you to death. So, pretty much, DauT has a very, very, very narrow window to finish off Villese here. And it's tricky because Villese has an amazing tower here defending the stone and wood. He's got an amazing tower on the gold here. Everything is set for Villese to just sit back and chill and potentially go straight plumed archers. Somewhat surprising that he only has 4 stone miners though. He's definitely piling up stone for a castle, but I would think that you want to add 2 more villagers on stone, just to be a little bit faster with that. But yes, Britons with 0%, or not 0%, but 18% win rate in the tournament right now. 18%, 3 wins, and I think 14 defeats, or 17 defeats, or something like that. It is not looking great for DauT, especially against Mayans, and at the end of the or at the beginning of the series I thought that the draft are super similar, but I was mainly referencing to the top 3 civilizations of the players, and what made the difference here is that Villese was able to use his second 3 civilizations very nicely. He won a game with Celts, he won a game with Cumans, more importantly, whereas so far DauT wasn't able to use his second 3 civilizations well, so no Saracens. And now Britons actually get a very bad civilization matchup against Mayans. So there's the triple TC play. DauT is now going to start adding mangonels, but that's not a forward siege workshop, so it's going to take forever for those mangonels to come up. And I think that's a late play. By the time these mangonels arrive over here, Villese is ready to drop a castle. I wonder where he's gonna drop the castle. but he could try dropping it over here. It depends where DauT is pushing. Indeed, here comes the castle. And I think by the time DauT arrives, I don't think he can stop that castle. Look at this. Maybe if that siege workshop was on the front line, he could actually see that. I don't think that he's even going to spot the castle before it's too late. He's going to pressure the tower, but look at this. Villese has 50%. Coming up with 60 crossbows, trying to sit beneath the tower. Now seeing the villagers on the castle, but elite skirms are in, tower is in. DauT cannot stop that castle. And it appears that Vilese's first major, like super major tournament semifinals performance will be this one. This could be the prime of Vilese's career. And when we are talking about Suomi players, in the majority of the times we're talking about Max as the best Finnish player who got defeated by DauT yesterday, and Villese 3-0 DauT. That was impressive. But from what we have seen from DauT and from what we have seen from DauT in this tournament so far, it seemed like DauT is a much harder opponent than DauT. But right now, it kind of seems like for me that Villese has what it takes to get into the semifinals, and that is a huge achievement for him in his career, I believe. Now, Villese is not making plumed archers, and that is a little bit disturbing. And I mean, if you don't make military, DauT is just gonna smash you with those mangonels. It appears that this might be a guard tower defense if I see university, but nope, it's just watchtower. Now, this might be a little bit of too easy play here from Villese. He might be underestimating the importance of this push. Because if those mangonels destroy that TC, the crossbows will just walk into the eco here. He has his own mangonel, bringing in a relic just now. This is still very tough for DauT. He's behind by 6 villagers. Lost the mangonel indeed to the TC, and now he's backing off. Every second this game is longer, it is going to be better and better for Villese. Nice mango shot from DauT over there. Villese responds with a mango shot that is missing. DauT is able to pick off the monk, that was nice, but it appears we are going to end up with an ego switch here for Villese. I think something that could have happened a little bit faster. It's somewhat surprising that Villese is not even adding a single plumed archer. Just 5 or 6 plumes would be so good at just trying to occupy those crossbows and take the fight, but yes, indeed, Villese is going to play with barracks. DauT does not see them, but he might actually suspect that it's an ego switch. Because the thing is that Villese already has a castle. If Villese went for plumed archers, you would see the plumed archers on the field. So DauT might think that Villese is not going for plumed archers. Now it's mangonel versus mangonel. Castle is up for DauT as well, but Villese is going Imperial. DauT is technically able to click into Imperial, but what is he gonna do against Eldorado Eagles? I have no idea. DauT was never able to punish Villese for playing this one rather greedily, to be honest, because Villese never really made a lot of army. So right now he's also outnumbered 2-1, yet DauT is just unable to punish Villese for that. He's trying to find an angle to attack, but once again we are seeing why Britons are so bad in Kingdom Desert 3. They're so slow. Look at this push. By the time it gets in here, Villese will have its chance to react to that. Meanwhile, this is actually a nice move from DauT. He was able to finish off this tower and finish off the villagers here from Villese. Now DauT has a 10 villagers lead here, but how is he going to stop the Eagles? I have no clue. Here come the crossbows, will pick off 1 or 2 villas, but they don't have ballistics. There is actually a 2 minutes difference in the imp times of the players, and Villese is already making squires, making you warrior, chainmail is on the way, and DauT is just going to be unprepared for the Eagle flood. Look at this wood line. These are the resources that will be just absolutely ready to death by Eagles. If DauT was, let's say, fully stonewalled, I'm gonna say that, okay, he has a chance. But there is going to be a better aim time for Villese. He can go for Elite Ego immediately, he can go for +4 armor, he can go for Eldorado right after. Drops a castle in here in the face of DauT at a beautiful hill. And as things stand, the first few Eagles here will probably just be able to finish this one off. It appears that Villese might try to use the mangoes to do that though. I think it's better that way. Finishes off the mango. And DauT's crossbows are about to go down here. He's got the range advantage to try and micro that away. but that's not gonna happen against 2 Mangonels plus Elite Skirms, and indeed, Villese can just use that army to clean this one up and use the Eagles to push immediately, and after 3-0ing DauT, he's very close to making a comeback against DauT, and it appears that all it took for Villese to get in this series is to just, you know, get warmed up, because the first 2 games were rather sloppy from him. But in retrospective, if you remember game number 2, even in game number 2 at the second half of the game, DauT started making some mistakes. It was just about the fact that Villese was so much behind that it was almost impossible for DauT to lose that game. The only really dominant win for DauT in this series was game number 1. Those Eagles will have +4 armor in a matter of seconds, and they will just have a perfect surround on the crossbows. DauT is not even close to being able to react to all of those Eagles that will just run into his eco and kill his Villagers. Because that's all that Villese needs to do now. Just run around, kill Villagers. Forging is on the way, now the +4 is in, Elite Eagle is in. And once Villese has a little bit of extra resources, he can go for El Dorado as well. This feels like Villese's game here, and Villese, probably the best moment of his career, has arrived. Into the semifinals he will go, and after what we have seen against DauT, after the resilience in this series that he was able to come back from 3-2, or from a 2-0 deficit to 3-2, because that feels like it right now, I think that he's gonna have a very good chance against either MBL or DauT in the next round, because one of those players will be the opponent. I would still think that if MBL wins the next series, then MBL will probably be the favorite against Villese, but we have seen that Villese is able to perform at a very high level right now, and he's got clean plays, very clean plays in many cases, and now DauT is probably just trying to hang on to this one, but once again we are seeing why Britons are just bad in King of the Desert. El Dorado is on the way, which makes those Eagles virtually indestructible, and we are talking about a fast and super strong unit against slow and rather ineffective units here. So, look at this. That is just gonna be -10 Villagers once again for DauT. He's running for his life, and this is the mobility ingredient that you need for a civilization to be effective in King of the Desert, and that's not what we have from Britons. And once again, like yesterday when I was casting with Nili, we discussed one of the players picking Britons, and we already talked about the fact that, you know, Britons can be a strong civ if you have a very good defendable position. And like on the old matchmaking Arabia, Britons were good. But this is so open, and I'm somewhat surprised that players are still trying to play this out with Britons when you have way better options. Like, we even see that Vikings are performing better than Britons, because Vikings at least have a much better eco behind that one. So they are still slow, but their Berserks can act as a very good anti-infantry and anti-cavalry unit as well. They have a good eco behind that one. Whereas for Britons, they don't really have anything that gives them any kind of mobility. And yes, DauT has won this fight here. Nice. But he once again is not gonna have the mobility to deal with these, and the Eagles, once they get +4, they will just be able to absolutely devastate here, and they don't even need to take direct fights. That's the beautiful thing here for Villese. He can just keep raiding, send a few Eagles to the left, send a few Eagles to the right, and just absolutely cripple DauT's eco, who already has a rather exposed gold mine on the left, on the right. And if you take a look at DauT, he's got 40 Villagers on gold, but the majority is over here, I believe. And I don't know where the other gold miner is at, but like, these Villagers getting cleaned up, and he's losing his castles as well. Blast Furnace is on the way, which means that those Eagles will be fully upgraded, and then they will have no trouble dealing with those Arbalests. Villese is 155 pop, DauT is at actually 170, but that's a little bit misleading because that many Eagles, especially if they take the hill here, they will be able to take some good engagements. You will be using the traps to take down the archers as well here. So use any kind of advantage that you can have. 1 or 2 trap shots is -1 or 2 archers. So look at this. DauT is going to lose massive numbers. Indeed, the traps are targeting the archers right now, and replenishing those Eagles is a little bit easier for Villese right now, considering that his eco is untouched. Whereas for DauT, he's losing a large amount of Villagers. He's only got 8 Villagers on gold now, and his archer numbers are dropping quite massively. Alongside that, there is a large amount of villagers getting killed. DauT has 8 villagers on gold. This is it for DauT. He had the shot to get into the semifinals, and he got into the semifinals in Mangrove Shallows Cup last year. Before that, he didn't really have any major semifinals performance until 2017, and here he had the chance. You can't say that he got a very, very hard opponent to deal with. In fact, among the players left in the tournament, Villese is definitely one of the weaker players. Despite the fact that he played very, very good here, I thought that DauT should have had this after game number 2, but it appears that DauT has just fallen apart. Game number 3 and 4, like game number 3 was a rather unlucky series for DauT. Get rushed, he fell behind. Okay, game number 4, Slavs with the crossbows, somewhat debatable decision. Game number 5, deciding game. He is picking Britons. He already drafted Britons, which is somewhat questionable. But he goes for the Britons that once again will drop even further in terms of win rate, down to something like 15%. And I think the KD speaks for itself. Massive comeback for Villese to what is basically the career moment for him. And he is going to have his shot at getting into the finals. It's not going to be easy, but it's already a huge achievement for Villese to get into the semifinals over here. So with that, DauT is out, and I am a little bit sad to see him go out, because after he beat Leary, I was really convinced that this might be a huge tournament for him, and indeed it was great performance. DauT had some very, very memorable moments, like 3-0ing Nikov. He 3-2'd Leary here. That's huge as well. But then Villese was very, very resilient and made the comeback against him. And shout out to Villese, who really, really had a hard time in the first 2 games. But then, even 2 games behind, he believed in himself and made the comeback.